Night, man.
Streaming. Let's make sure.
I'll play that with you after the show.
I did the new story mission by myself and died 3 times.
Is it hard?
Cool.
It's a bit, well, it was a bit difficult at the end when I was by myself and had no health.
Okay, I'll say right now, I'm extremely tired, so I'll be a terrible host. So does anyone want to host? No one.
I
Volunteers?
guess I can host. I mean, I don't mind. Let me just.
Have you got the show notes?
Yeah, I need the show notes. And
Okay, I'll paste them back in. There you go.
It's fine. We're testing the stream right now. I just started it. Okay.
We'll probably get through them quite quickly.
Mind.
There's not that much exciting there.
Hey, there's the
Bring up
stream.
Audacity.
Look at that. Fucking Jason did a good job.
Hey, man. Take my time. Get it right.
It's a fat hat, by the way.
Oh, my Tigers hat?
Yeah, it's cool.
Thank you. Represents everything about America. Baseball and America.
And Trump.
Yeah.
America.
America.
Okay.
I should probably turn all my sounds down.
Steve has a British hat on, but he won't go on cam.
I've no hats on.
Oh, shit. Not what I meant
Just my hair.
Just my hair.
What episode is this?
to.
133.
133.
Jesus.
I need to sign into the Twitch account and change the episode count.
There is like no news this week.
Pretty quiet.
I did my best to stretch it out.
I have such a dirty mind. Okay. It is now 1:33 on the Twitch. 4 people are watching us.
Okay, so where are the show notes? We got them in the.
I put
Here
it
it
in
is.
Skype.
Sweet.
Let me go ahead and
It's
Oh
not
wait,
like-
they're not. That's not a link. That's weird.
Hold on.
here I can submit it. Oops. Well, that's annoying.
I don't know why it's not working. Hold on, Vern. I'll get it for you. Oh, goddamn.
Oh, I'll be right back.
Ooh, gosh.
Jesus,
is it in
man.
a mega belch there? Is it in chat? Let's see.
It was in the
It's in. I
Twitter.
did DM it as well.
You put it in Twitter too, right? Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm opening it up in Twitter.
Oh, there you go. That's the link. I don't know what happened. Did we get many letters?
We did.
Good.
Trying to open this. There we go.
I had to go close my door real quick. Okay.
As I said, don't blame me for the lack of news.
Yeah, there
Nah,
just wasn't much.
we'll just, it won't be that long of a show. We'll just, get through it.
We'll just riff. Have some fun.
Let me get
Let me
What's
get
it
bed by
called?
10.
Audacity.
Oh, yeah. Gotta definitely make sure Audacity's up.
Yeah, no,
You
I mean, let's
You
try to
don't
keep
see
it
a
to a minute.
nipple.
I mean, I don't mind a 2-hour show, but a 3-hour show is a little much.
I wonder
Yeah.
what the world record is for like the longest podcast, like continuous. We should try to break that.
We should
We're
not.
up there. We are one of the longest podcasts on the net.
No, but I mean the longest, like how many
I
hours?
would say longest consistent podcast, like by week.
No, like say like we start recording.
No, literally
like,
longest.
Yeah, like say like the world record is like 38 hours. We could probably beat
I
that.
guarantee some guys probably went a few days or longer. Probably streaming a fucking game or something. Playing
Yeah.
Farming Simulator for 5 days straight.
Well, no, that's different. We're a podcast talk show, so
I
it
don't
would
know, man.
get some sort of record there, I imagine.
Well, I think we're one of the longest podcasts. We're usually we've been on the show almost a 4-hour podcast. I wanted to throw my computer out the window after that.
Yeah, we've had some long ones. Seems like every one that I've been on has always been long. There's only been one, semi-short one.
I don't think we've never had a show under 2 hours ever. Always
that
too
doesn't.
much.
That just
Well,
doesn't happen.
Today we're gonna try.
Yeah. Read the
Usually we
letters,
get
read
in
the news, and
You know,
see ya.
at first, if you were with us in the very beginning when we didn't get any note letters or anything, then yeah. But once we started getting letters, it was because we don't cheap up on the letters. We fucking spend time. for
Nah,
those
you answer
bastards.
all the questions to a T.
Yeah. Okay.
And we're also not trying to record a podcast in a diner.
Is-
Who's trying to record the podcast in a diner?
Oh, those wacky guys at Rebel FM. That fucking podcast was terrible this week or last week. Why would you do that? That to me, that makes me feel like as they're like a fan of their show, as like they don't give a fuck about their quality of their or their show.
that's
Like
why.
I could,
Yeah.
people
That's why
gotta
me
eat,
and
bro.
Dusty spend like a couple hours editing after we do it.
yeah.
The
Stupid.
beta should be available right on my games, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot we're on Twitch.
Everyone, quickly say something you're not supposed to.
Yeah, right.
Boobies.
You can
Boobies.
say boobies. We're explicit.
Steve, your mind goes straight to the gutter, Steve.
That's not really fair, is it?
Well, somebody would get offended by that in this PC world we live in today.
At least it's not a Mac world.
I wish it was.
It's a Windows 10 PC world, yo.
Hey, they just what did they get? 4 million Department of Defense seals right there. Jesus Christ. Okay.
I can't believe Apple won't do something about that fucking terrorist cell phone.
Well.
No.
Okay, I get the fact that they want them to help, but to create a backdoor that would work on any iPhone is fucking dodgy president.
No.
And that's a terrible
What
idea.
Apple should do is say, we will do this one time for this one phone, and that is
because
it.
that never
It
works.
doesn't work like that.
Because then they'll find another one who has a bloody iPhone, and then they'll say, okay, well, can you just do it again?
Well, I mean, I think terrorists should, I don't think they have
should be
any rights,
able
and I
to-
think
But they should not be asking Apple to create a permanent backdoor to iPhones, because that shit will get leaked and it will be awful and it will kill their product. Which,
Yep.
for them, they
yeah,
absolutely.
but I mean,
Apple should help, and to be fair, it sounds like they have
Here
helped.
come the
But
police.
they have
Take you
been
away.
asked. They have been asked to do something that is incredibly unethical.
well, I mean, I think terrorism is a little bit more unethical.
Yeah, but this is just going to make a situation
Liberty.
worse. I'm not saying they shouldn't help them, because they should.
I think
but
they
what
absolutely
they
should.
specifically asked them to do was wrong.
I think they should
Yes.
go to a court and get a warrant, and then
They probably will.
that's what they're supposed to do. Not go, hey, could you make a backdoor for every single iPhone ever created? No.
Yeah, that's not good.
Okay.
All right. I am all ready, I think.
Can everyone
ready.
see a nipple? At least
I
one.
got that nipple.
I can
I
see
got my
three.
nipple.
Which one do you want me to rob?
The smaller one, Steve.
He
If you
sees
see
all.
I'm
three,
ready.
hmm.
I'm ready.
Prophecies.
I see
gentlemen, let's start the show.
6, but some are really strange looking nipples. I see a square nipple, a triangle nipple. I see a nipple that kind of looks like a power outlet.
Really fucked up nipple.
That's not what a power outlet looks like.
Here in the States, sort of.
Okay. I'm ready. I got my finger on the nipple.
I'm
Are we
ready.
going to hear an intro?
Yes. Let me.
And can Twitch hear all of us?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me. One second. Let me. Thank you for reminding me. I didn't have them open in the programs. Might hear it real quick. No, you didn't. Okay.
Oh my god, there's a Gears of War cog tag antenna.
Oh God, no!
Yeah, get it. Or
Can
did
we-
you just get it?
I've just got it. Just unlocked it.
Hey, since we're
I'm just-
PC Uncut now, can we talk about Street Fighter V's reviews? No, it's
Yeah.
never mind.
Let's
I'll
talk
talk
about
about
it.
Street Fighter 5 when I'm in what we've been playing, because I've actually played it quite a bit.
Oh, did
so.
you? Okay.
On
I heard
PC
it was
or,
good.
On
PS4.
PS4.
Yeah.
I'm
What
going
is
to talk about the Cronus Max, how awesome it is, and how it works and stuff. So
Okay. All right, my finger's on the nipple, and I have the intro ready.
All right.
Who's counting us down?
The host, Vern.
All right. Start recording in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, no, wait.
Oh,
My Audacity
no.
didn't record.
You fucked it up.
No,
Well, we didn't have an
I
intro
got an
start
error.
anyway.
It said error while opening sound device. Motherfucker. Let
When
me
he
restart
said,
this.
"Oh," I didn't take my mouse to go press
Yeah.
play.
You're just like, never mind.
Never mind.
Let me make sure Audacity records real quick. Check 1, 2.
That would be very important to make sure it records.
Yeah, well, that was the first time an error ever popped up that said can't open recording device.
That's annoying.
It works now, so I am ready.
Okay.
1 second. I got to start again now.
Sorry, fellas.
Damn you.
I really botched this one.
You fucked it up. It's over now.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm off
Is
the
everyone
show.
ready? Tim, you ready?
Yeah.
I
One
was
Saint,
born ready.
I am ready.
Jason, Steve. Okay, good. Okay, recording in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Xbox Uncut Weekly Podcast.
Bungie, you ripped the money out of your fans' hands and burned it in front of their faces with that piece of shit known as Destiny.
I want to be hyped.
Vern, how you doing?
And Tim and Steve are sucking it out of me.
It was a pretty good podcast. I'd say 3 out of 5.
South Park's a fractured but whole. Horizon
Wait a
Zero
second,
Dawn.
we gotta enjoy that title first.
It's so good in the end. Your accent. Fractured but whole.
Fractured but
I don't sound like that.
Who the fuck is Master Chief?
Exclusives happen. Third-party money has happened. I don't give a shit.
Killtacular.
Yeah, that was on Xbox, and the only way as a PlayStation fan that you can be happy about that is because you're happy that Xbox fans don't get to play it.
I finally finished Ori, which took me 36 hours, 1,338 minutes.
Like Forza they don't program in 0 to 60 numbers. They don't program in how tight a car can turn, how much traction a car has. They don't do any of that. But what they do is they put these statistics into their physics engine and they let their physics engine work it out for itself.
Well, if you don't want to buy it because there's a woman in the game or on the cover, you can suck it.
You know how many times I've argued with people and they're like, Persona 5! It's like, it's the same shit all the time. It's like, I don't know, they have
to reality and you were like, take the L!
you know, exactly. Sony's gonna have more delays. It's just, it's a pattern all gen.
I played Minecraft Story Mode, and if you don't like it, then fuck you.
You can write into the show at letters@xboxuncut.com. And now, your host, Dustin.
No, my name is not Dustin. Welcome to the Xbox Uncut Weekly Podcast, episode 133. So Dustin is out this week, so yours truly, Vern, the Golden Throat, is host. Let's get started with our introductions. We have a good panel today. We're going to start with Steve from SteveRules.com. How are you, Steve?
I'm good, thanks, Fran. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yeah, you had a good week?
Yeah, it's been alright. Pretty good.
Yeah, playing lots of games?
Played lots of games. Yeah. Lots of
Awesome.
Rocket League.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that a lot. Next we have Jason. How are you, Jason?
Tired. Had a shitty week. But I'm ready to do the podcast.
Okay, well we're gonna uplift you, Jason.
Okay. Good luck.
It's gonna happen.
I've been doing inventory all week. Good luck.
Inventory for what?
A retail store.
Oh, okay. That sounds fun. I used to have to do that. You have to wake up really early for that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm basically the only one doing it.
Oh, that's a bummer. Well, hopefully you can be done with that soon. Next, we have One Saint. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, and today's a special day. You guys want to know why?
Yes.
It's a No Rules Thursday. Dustin's not here. We can do whatever we want. Woo!
PlayStation
Podcast.
podcast.
I don't like my name being used in vain.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He didn't spell it with a Z, so it's okay.
No. Sorry, that was
I spelled it
ambiguous.
ROOLS. No
That was
ooh
ambiguous.
or ES. Regardless, I hope everybody's doing well. I've been sick all week.
Oh.
It's been miserable, but I'm here.
All right, and last we have, and not least, I don't want to slight you there. We have Timothy E. Dog. How are you, Tim?
What's up, guys? How you doing? Glad to be here on Xbox Uncut.
So, how's the community right now, Tim? I mean, you're the one who sees all this and gets all the crazy tweets. Has it died down a bit from last week?
There's a lingering of a little bit of. I would say the morale's a little low, but it'll change. It's just on Monday. I think that it didn't blow over like a lot of people thought, and there's a little lingering. There's still people that are not really on board 100%, but I think once you get a big piece of news, it'll ratchet up. It just seems like I mean. Obviously, these guys that argue with Sony guys, basically they have no more ammunition, so it's kind of in that aspect it has died down as far as there's no fighting. There's really what it's going to dribble down to. You don't have exclusives, but
you can't say true exclusives anymore because
right.
this probably won't happen much.
Hey,
so.
all I want to say about that is that Sony was the first company to come out with the console exclusive tag for a case.
You're right.
Cover.
You're right with Street Fighter, right? Well, at
It's
least the
not.
first one I saw was Street Fighter 4.
Is it not on the game cover? Because I remember seeing.
I think it is Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter is the first one.
It is, but it's very cleverly worded because it says a one-line PS4 exclusive, and on the next line, console game.
Yes.
It's actually incredibly well done. and it's factually true, but people are not going to read it like that.
No,
I think it's gross to do something like that.
Oh, no way! That's just.
That's
I mean,
the
yeah.
game.
I mean, back in
Well,
the day,
it'd be
Nintendo
kind of
used
like
to do it.
if they brought back only on Xbox, and then in the little tiny print next to it, and PC.
What do they say? Don't hate the player, hate the game. It's the game, man.
Yeah.
That's just
Well,
how
I
it is.
really don't give a shit, to be honest, because I've been all digital this generation except for 2 games, and that's it. One was a gift, and one was a launch title I bought, and then
What was
just
the launch title?
Dead Rising.
It's a good game. That was a good
Did
launch
you like
title.
it?
I have a very big problem with open world games. If it's not really like pointing me in the direction that I need to go and it tells me I can do whatever I want, I usually just do whatever I want. I have a hard time following story. That's why I still play The Witcher, because I just walk around just doing random shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll do some of the story. But I'm close to finishing that. I'm trying to find the stupid sunstone right now.
I'm like that too. I just GTA. I don't follow the story. I just start bashing somebody and jumping in a car and running away from the police.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time I play.
I could just imagine you trying to commit a heist, Tim.
Yeah. I go shoot darts and then I just go drive around in GTA.
Yeah.
No one likes GTA. It's got bad controls. All right, I'm going to move on to news now. Since we were just talking about what's going on with Xbox and Windows 10, I'm actually going to jump to the second news article we have here and then kind of move around a little, because the first thing I want to talk about is this rumor. Now, Steve, this says WPD Ang, or is that WP Dang? What is this website?
Yeah, it's,
WP Dang?
I believe it's a Chinese website who have had a very good track record for Windows Phone rumors. I tried to find the link, but when I googled it, it was in a language that unfortunately I do not speak. So I figured it'd just be much simpler if I just put the Windows Central article and.
So this rumor continues from what we were talking about last week. The rumor is that the Forza franchise and more are coming to Windows 10. They're a reliable Windows Phone info leaker, and they said Microsoft games coming to Windows 10 alongside Xbox One. Forza Motorsport 6 is set to release on Windows 10 alongside the unannounced Forza Horizon 3, which will also launch on Xbox One. Gears of War 4 and Scalebound, as accidentally listed, quote unquote, by GameSpot for Windows 10, also mentioned. These games will potentially hit Windows 10 alongside the previously announced Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, ReCore, Killer Instinct, Sea of Thieves, and Halo Wars 2. So what do you guys all think about this? It sounds like they're going all in now.
I'm extremely suspicious about Forza 6, and I'm only suspicious for one reason. And that's, if you remember back to the DirectX 12 demo for Forza 5, they were talking about how they built that demo, and apparently
Yeah.
it took months to convert one track and a few cars just for that race. That's all that demo was. That's all they could convert. With a much bigger team, sir, they can get the 26 tracks and 500 cars, but they wouldn't.
That was also 5. I mean, 6 may be doing things that
No,
are
it's
way more
not
similar
DirectX
to what we see
12.
with... What?
It's not DirectX 12 though. It's DirectX 11. They confirmed that. Like it would have to be converted over DirectX 12.
So is Forza Horizon 3 going to be DirectX 12?
It would take Forza Horizon 3.
Possibly, yeah.
No, it is because I don't. When's the last? I'm trying to think of when the last. I don't know if it was build, but they had a display where it was like studios working with DX12, and it showed turn 10, and this was after Forza 6. So it's pretty clear. Horizon 3 is going to be
Black
DirectX
Tusk
12.
were also on that list.
Yeah, Black Tusk on that list.
They were
too.
renamed since then, but they said Black Tusk.
Well, it made sense for every Xbox.
For every if that's the case, then we can assume Gears of War 4.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we already know Gears Ultimate Edition is coming.
Yeah.
Could have been referring to that, but I think this was before they'd announced that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really understand why you'd put Ultimate Edition on there and not put 4 on there.
But I understand Forza Horizon 3. That makes sense. That's coming out in the future, and if we're going along with what we've seen in the past, that'll definitely come to PC. Yeah, Forza Motorsport 6 is kind of suspect. I kind of agree with Jason there. I would think it's more likely we'd see a more specific PC version of the Motorsport franchise, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's like Turn 10 Studios is not going to stop a Forza 7 to convert Forza 6. But if they got, a third-party studio to do it, then it would.
That's a possibility.
It's definitely a possibility, and it could explain why maybe it got leaked, but at the same time, one leak, I don't know.
I mean, you look at Quantum Break and how quickly that was put together. Because in August they were like, no, it's not coming day one, and then in February it's like, it's day one. So I mean, they've been building these tools for a while. I think Forza 6 will happen, and I think it will be pretty quick. Whether they got someone outside to do it or whether they got a team to do it themselves. I did think that they would do like a free to play Forza across perhaps PC and mobile, and there were some job listings that hinted towards that, but that was like over 2 years ago, and it's not happened. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft would just like, let's just make the same games, and just put them on everything.
Do we think they'll do crossplay for games that have already been released on Xbox One, but then come out on PC? You know what I mean? So like, Forza Motorsport 6 already came out, but I wonder if they would implement crossplay into the version that's on PC to then work with Xbox One.
Isn't Killer Instinct going to be crossplay?
It is, but they'll be releasing a whole new version with Season 3, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That'll be DirectX 12 and completely rebuilt.
Anything that's built on DirectX 12 is going to be most likely going to Windows 10 because of the way it's coded. So Gears 4, very likely it's going to go to Windows. Crackdown 3, very likely it's going to go to Windows. This is just
interesting. Crackdown's not been rumored.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, these games are going to be on Windows. Now they might be maybe in Gears just to test the waters. It might be a 3-month exclusive, but in the end, Microsoft's vision and what they want is to release these games day one on both PC and Xbox. This is the strategy moving forward, especially in regards to last week when they did Quantum Break. Surprisingly, they did not get bashed for it. They had a it was a Gamers Unite type thing. The press was very good. Microsoft was happy with the press. So this is moving forward.
The press was actually very positive. The only kind of negative stuff was the press pointing out some fans here and there who were being kind of ridiculous, you know?
Right. Which was basically which basically was the distraction of the real issue. or the issue that people have an issue with of these exclusives going, they're not true exclusives type of thing, what they were sold on 2013 as opposed to what they're doing now. The bottom line is that I can tell you from from pretty good from a pretty good place that these Gears 4, all these games are going PC. This is not going to be a
Yeah.
discussion in a year.
Halo is going to be the big one whenever that happens.
It's gonna happen. Halo 6, and they're gonna have they're gonna do some of these games where it makes sense. They might do they might hire somebody like Blue Point, or
like Splash Damage, or
Splash Damage, and they'll it makes sense to have Halo Master Chief Collection on PC.
Ruffy, and I wrote about this on my site like 3 or 4 months ago. I've got job listings and LinkedIn profiles talking about how they're working on the Halo franchise with 343 and Microsoft, specifically on the Windows platform.
Yeah.
And no one who works, unless you're internally, you don't refer to Xbox One as the Windows platform. They just don't care.
I wonder if Halo Wars is actually going to use the cloud for doing CPU.
Probably not.
Well, with
Probably
Total
not.
War stuff?
It seems like Crackdown's going to be the real test for that. So I don't think we'll see that stuff until after Crackdown comes out and is working.
Isn't Halo
well.
Wars 2 after Crackdown? Well, I guess not.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, sort of, but not.
But what Steve's referring to, I mean, what Fern's referring to, he's right. You're going to see that as a project-to-project type thing. If they have real big success with CloudGen and they have big success with Crackdown 3, maybe they'll work on 2 games. But they're not going to be pumping out cloud compute games really heavily unless there's another, like CloudGen's one company that's actually investing in this and that's doing this. There might be, if you see other companies start to mimic what they're doing and do the same thing, then you really might just start ratcheting up these cloud compute games like a la Crackdown 3. Where it's doing heavy computations in the cloud. So I do think Halo 6 will have cloud compute similar to what you have in Halo 5, but I don't think unfortunately it's not going to be on that level of Crackdown 3.
I think it could, though, and they have an opportunity for this in the Warzone mode if they go for further with that in the next game. That's where they'd have the opportunity for cloud compute, is just within that particular mode, right. I would say.
But they will have it in Halo 6. Of course, they're going to build upon that. But the high level, the multi, whatever, the high computational physics like that you see in Crackdown 3, that's just a one game thing right now. So Crackdown 3 is the test bed, and if it's a success,
I'm sure it's expensive, and they still haven't figured out
and
how to monetize this stuff on the PC,
Well, the thing I was thinking of is, sorry for interjecting. The thing I was thinking of for Halo Wars was, for one, it's being a Total War game, which is notorious for CPU intensive, and 2, I wasn't really thinking Crackdown levels of like using 13 servers at one time for a game host. I was thinking more like maybe using one host, and it would be like an experimental mode where you could have more units on the screen than usual or some crap like that. Like something more like a test rather than something completely deployed into the game like Crackdown's going to have, I don't know.
I mean, it's a possibility, but
yeah.
I think we're going to see Crackdown come out, and then they'll really take a look at that and then say, okay, can we use this for other things now instead of immediately using it for everything right away?
You have to realize that Crackdown 3 is a collaboration. They have
3 studios, right?
They have 3 studios, and they also have CloudGen, which is involved. And the CloudGen is basically involved for the cloud compute portion of it, the physics of the everything blowing up and stuff. So they're somebody, after they do Crackdown 3, they're going to have a new project, and that's going to be probably the most it's going to be the biggest cloud game moving forward after that. So they're going to be somebody to watch.
Well, who's working on Crackdown? It's Reagent.
It's Reagent, but Reagent and
Sumo
Cloud Gene are owned by Dave Jones, who was the original game director at Real Time Worlds. And then I'm pretty sure that Sumo are doing the bulk of the work because they're a big studio.
Right.
And it's like Cloud Gene are making the cloud tech, and Reagent are kind of doing the
game design.
Sort of a lot of the design work. Yeah. And then Sumo are massive, so
have you guys checked out that podcast? I think they've been doing a podcast, or they put out a couple podcast episodes
they have.
so far.
I haven't
really paid attention to them, but I don't know if you guys had listened to them yet. I'd like to check those out. All right, next news article. Fallout 4 Season Pass content has finally been detailed, guys. Now, this one's kind of interesting because it's similar to what we saw with Dying Light, where they decided to add content but raise the price of the season pass, because the season pass is now going to be $50 instead of $30. They did announce 3 expansions so far, but there are more to come. They're called, how do you pronounce it? Is it Automatron or Automatron or Automatron? Automatron, yeah. Automatron, yeah. Wasteland Workshop and Far Harbor. Far Harbor is actually the big expansion. That's the one that's like $25 by itself, and it's going to have most of the content. That revolves around the Mechanist, who releases evil robots into the Commonwealth. The RoboBrain last seen in New Vegas returns. You can also build and mod your own custom robot companion, and there are hundreds of mods, Bethesda said, as well as the new lightning chain gun. The Wasteland Workshop, which is out in April, that lets you design and set cages to capture live creatures, from raiders to deathclaws. You can tame them, have them fight each other, as well as against your settlers. That sounds like something for Jason.
So basically, you can have like a dog fight. Is that?
Yeah, it's Pokemon. Yeah, sounds like Pokemon. Okay. Yeah. And then Far Harbor, which is the really expensive one. That's the one out in May. That's the big one. Let's see. Sounds like the most substantial add-on. It's a new case from Valentine's Detective Agency, and it involves searching for a young woman in a secret colony of synths. You travel to the island of Far Harbor, which suffers from higher levels of radiation, and as a result, is a more feral world. There is a conflict between the synths, the children of Adam, and the locals. Bethesda said Far Harbor is the largest landmass for an add-on it's ever created. And has new faction quests, settlements, creatures, and dungeons. There's also new higher-level armor and weapons. So this one sounds like it's more like, Shivering Isles in Oblivion. That kind of size expansion to me.
More settlements. Right. President Preston will be happy, right?
I've got to be honest, I'm not overly wowed by them saying it's the biggest one we've ever made, because Fallout 4 is a big game, and there's not really a whole lot inside it, in my opinion. That's overly compelling.
Yeah, but this doesn't sound like what they did with like Dawn Guard or something from Skyrim. It's not like they just added a new quest within the current world and then added some dungeons and things like this. This is a whole new landmass, and if it's bigger than any add-on they've done, that means it's bigger than Shivering Isles. And Shivering Isles, which was a pretty huge expansion, that it was well reviewed and good game, so it has potential. I think, especially for $24.99, that sounds like a good price for something like that. Now, as far as the rest of the content, we don't know what it is, but that's why they kicked it up to $50. You have until the end of the month, I think, to get it for $30, and then it goes up to $50, on the 1st of March. So, if you're interested in Fallout, I'd probably say go ahead and grab that season pass now before it gets more expensive.
Before you get bait switched.
See, sorry, go on.
No, you go on.
All right. I don't have absolutely no problem with them increasing the price of the season's pass if there's more content, but I can't help but feel like being $10 less than your base game and clearly providing much less content isn't particularly good value. And also, the way that Dying Light did it was that they'd already released some DLC, and then they had a new DLC that was coming out in about 6 months that people had played, they'd seen, and it was clearly ginormous, whereas Fallout, Bethesda have kind of said this, but I don't know. They haven't released any content thus far, and they're not going to release anything by the time it goes up. I mean, I'm not bothered by it in principle, but
I mean,
I'd
they
probably
did
be
it.
a bit concerned.
They did just come out and say it and give warning and say, hey, you have this time to go ahead and purchase it in advance. So it's not like they're
Isn't
screwing anyone over. But I mean, and
Well,
if you're
no,
really that
but
worried about it, you just don't buy the season pass and buy the few individual expansions that you think are worth it. So I don't have a serious problem with that. And as far as it being $50, which is $10 less than a $60 game, it's not like it's unprecedented. I mean, we see a $50 expansion with Call of Duty every year. We're seeing it with Battlefield now. We're seeing it with
Was it Arkham
Battlefront.
Knight?
Yeah.
$50?
but how many of those are actually worth the content that you got?
Well,
Well,
they
I
might be
will
worth
say
it to
that
the right people.
Arkham Knight's season pass was worth it for me just because I'm such a big Batman fan, and I'm a whore for fucking alternative costumes. So
And I mean,
Wasn't the Batman
here's
content
another
incredibly
thing.
short and not very good?
no, it wasn't very good, but like I'm more of, like I said, the skins are the things that I enjoy in that game.
Without because I thought I read this, without the season pass, if to buy the DLC they announced, it's $25 for Far Harbor, it's $5 for the Wasteland Workshop, and $10 for Automatron. So that's that's what, $40 right there.
that was probably their
Well,
original plan too for the season pass, is my guess.
I think with big games now, especially with huge budgets, this is the type of model you're going to see. I mean, like Fern said, it's not unprecedented, but I know a lot of people are upset about this. You know, a lot of Xbox fans, a lot of my friends that obviously from
Yeah.
other podcasts, they're very upset about this. But to me, it's just the nature of the beast because of what
Well, think
we're in
about it,
today.
Tim. I mean, when I was a kid, I remember when Ninja Gaiden 2 came out. This is on the original NES. That game was $60
Yep.
when I was a kid. Games are
Yep.
still $60 right now,
Yep.
and that's with inflation. They have to make money. I mean, it's a money-making business, and if they're not going to raise the prices on these retail games, they need to find other ways to monetize. Whether and
100%.
and that's microtransactions, and that's
Well,
DLC,
like,
and
yeah.
you know,
Try telling that to those passionate gamers though. They don't seem to get that. They seem to really take it personal, and I would say that they don't act rational about it. Like, you're right, and I agree with you.
They should be
100%.
these games should be $100. Honestly,
Right.
I'm not
If you-
saying I'm not saying I want to pay $100. I would
Listen,
be
this
kind of
isn't the
upset
Neo
about it.
Geo guys. We don't need $100
Yeah.
games.
well, that's like I
You've got
saw
to bear in mind that
people.
last generation games went from $50 to $60. The only people
100%.
that didn't take them to 60 immediately was Microsoft, and then when Gears of War came out, they was like, "Hey, why don't we just get ourselves an extra $10?" And they did
Yeah.
it as well.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like on Reddit right now, like there was someone posted the Conquer thing, someone made it Project Spark, and then people on Reddit made it a big deal that Project Spark used to have microtransactions. It's like, guys, it's a free game. How do you think they're going to monetize it? Even though the monetization pretty much failed because no one really bought anything, still,
Yeah.
how the hell do you think they're going to monetize on a free game?
And also with the market not really growing, it doesn't seem like the video game industry is really growing. You know, it's staying around the same size with the Wii being so popular last generation, just not existing pretty much this generation. But with it not growing, the way you make money is by monetizing
Right.
your existing base. So that's how they have to do it.
And in a sense, with Microsoft, that is probably one of the big reasons that they, there's other reasons too, but that is one of the big reasons why they made this move to the PC because.
Well, that and on an international scale too, you have to think, because this opens them up in regions where they would never sell a goddamn thing on the
Yes.
Xbox One.
It's a smart move. It's
Yeah.
a smart move. It's just like I said. I don't want to get back into that, but it is financially driven, and there are other things. But the bottom line right now, like Steve said, and like you said, the games we're paying $60 for these games. It's
That's
really
theft.
we're getting a good deal. So
Yeah.
I don't understand these outrageous. I mean, these people get so outrageously mad. about this. Like I listened, I was in a chat and I was with a bunch of Xbox guys, and they went on for about 40 minutes about this subject, about how they're scumbags, about how this and that, and I think that honestly needs to change for us as gamers, because
Well,
we have
it starts here, so we're the people that have to do that.
I won't
We're
be
the people
ashamed. I won't be ashamed to say that the last 3 Forza games I've paid $100 for each. I mean,
right.
And the last however
and
many.
you're satisfied.
Oh God, with Forza, sir.
Right.
Because I'm getting like 200 hours out of the game. I mean, you compare that kind of amount, how much entertainment you get out of another game for that. That's like me playing Star Trek Online. It's free to play, sir. But the end game sips to buy in the game are like $30, $50. But I've already put 500 hours in the game. It's worth it,
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
And I can see the other side of the coin too, because I think game companies are fucking themselves by competing at $60 with other games. Like, for instance, The Crew, or whatever the hell the name of that game is. I don't think that should be a $60 game, for the reason I think that game would have sold much better at a lower price and actually made more money, like Test Drive Unlimited did. But
what's interesting, though, is Ubisoft seems pretty happy with it, though. In their recent financial that came out today, they were talking about how they want more of their games in the future to be like The Crew, as far as like a games as a service kind of platform. So, sorry,
go on.
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
I was just going to say that, because I think what they said was that, okay, The Crew did start kind of slow, but they released DLC, then they did the expansion, and I think they were quite aggressive on pricing.
Exactly. So what Jason said is pretty true. With that with that pricing model, it seems to be more successful.
And you know what? I think I'm surprised more devs and publishers haven't followed Killer Instinct's example. I think what they did was brilliant.
Well, Capcom's doing it. They're just charging $60.
I know, which is insane, dude. If Street Fighter V came out at $20, $30, even with the content it has, shit,
it's worth more than $20. But I was just making a little
$30
joke.
Maybe.
Yeah, 40.
Well,
I'd say at least.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, those are all good points. All right, next news. This is good stuff. More backwards compatibility stuff. Galaga is now backwards compatible. Woohoo! And Dark Souls is coming. Adding to the 4 new games added last week: Alan Wake's American Nightmare, Sam & Max, Lego Batman, and Trials HD. Galaga is the retro alien blaster released on Xbox Live Arcade in 2006 by Namco Bandai. The original Dark Souls is also going to be made backwards compatible per a listing on Xbox.com. The game is a pre-order bonus for Dark Souls 3, which is now available for pre-ordering on the Xbox Store. And the game will be backwards compatible before its launch on April 12th, presumably. Season Pass for the game was also outed in the same listing with 2 premium DLCs, including new maps, enemies, bosses, weapons, and armor sets. Also, which it's not listed here, American Nightmare, the codes are going out now for anyone who pre-ordered Quantum Break. So that's some good news there, too, on that front. You guys excited about Galaga?
No, not really.
See,
I might get it. You know what? I'm going to buy it right now. Actually, I just
Galaga?
wish, I just wish I could freaking. I actually I miss those type of arcade games.
Galaga's fun, man.
I miss those type games. Every fucking game that's made this gen is the same fucking game, it seems like. You know what I mean? Like, there's too many platformers. There's nothing like the old school. Like, there's no King of Fighters right now. I know that, Steve, what's that game that's coming out? I always forget the name of the studio, and I always ask you because you know everything. And it's the one where it's a 2D fighter, kind of like
Rivals of Aether.
What is it called?
Rivals of Aether.
Okay, that game is a different kind of game. Like, those are like the old school arcade games, and you know what? I'd rather have an old school arcade game. It doesn't have, it could be a 2D type game. Like, what is it called? This game that I'm gonna go buy, Galaga.
Oh, you never played Galaga, man?
I never played it.
Oh, it's very old school.
The last time I remember playing Galaga was before Ridge Racer on the PS1.
Yeah, I think I might have played it.
Yeah,
But
Galaga is just like it's old school like Pac-Man or Donkey Kong. I
yeah,
mean,
I
we're
like
like
the
those
music.
way
old
back there.
school games. Like even I'd rather take a freaking, Bad Boys. Remember that game, arcade
Yep.
game, the Bad
I
Boys?
remember
I'd
that.
Oh,
take that
bad
game.
dudes,
Bad
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 dude.
dudes.
Dudes. Yeah,
Yeah, that's where. Yeah, that was the Cold
where did
War
those
game where you
games
fight all the
from?
Russians, right?
Every
Remember,
fucking game is a platformer. Every game is just every game is just like telling a story on a platformer. Try different shit. It's just like because
Oh
I'm
wait,
well,
no,
just
Tim,
You
you
know,
we're
gotta, you
seeing
also gotta
it.
look
at
like in the
least
arcade. It was in the arcade in the '90s. It was all fighting games and then racers.
right.
And then on the consoles, it was just all platformers, fighting games, and racers. The first person
Mhm.
shooters really didn't
RPGs.
start until now. Well, yeah,
I don't know.
RPGs too.
I'm just indied out. I just that's my rant is about just being. I played
Hey,
Yarny
you got
and
Cuphead to look forward to.
yes, Cuphead. I am looking for. That's just gonna make me
well,
crazy.
you know what?
Actually, isn't the Solace project coming?
At least when
Yeah, that's next week.
at least the gaming industry isn't as bad as the movie industry just yet. As
No,
far
it's
as
gaming industry is actually good in some aspects. Like I'm like Quantum Break. I'm really like I love games like that, like big games. But we're gonna get fewer and far between those AAA titles. But I just feel like everything is just finding like these games are just like the same type shit. I can't explain it.
Well,
I'm
that's
Well,
that's
Tim,
the issue with. I'm sorry.
I
That's
was
the
just gonna
issue
say.
with. Oh.
Go ahead, Vern.
I would like a game like Bad Dudes where it's done.
So you want another Final Fight, Streets of Rage type of thing,
Yeah, like
side
three of
scrolling.
them. Why not? It is 25 of the same different games. Just have why not just have a couple of them? I mean, I don't know.
Tim, you know why you're
Well,
not
I
getting
mean,
that? Because for the same reason they won't make a Mega Man Legends 3. Because the people in charge are dumbasses. And they believe no one has any interest in it.
I like games like even Rocket League, and I don't want to go too much into it, but I like games like Rocket League, NBA Jam, where you can just pick the controller up and it's just you're in it. And like Bad Dudes is that type of game. Double Dragons that type of game. Even Centipede was like, even though that's kind of different, but
I like
like,
Millipede better.
right,
Since we're talking about indie games though, and I've said this recently that my main issue with them is often they have one mechanic that's interesting, and then they just go crazy with that one mechanic through the entire game to the point where you get bored with it after 20 30 minutes. But that's my only real issue. But you do find indie games that are great and you can pick up and play, like Rocket League.
Tim, did you try Shovel Knight?
Yeah, it was all right. It was
I
pretty
like that.
good. I mean, I played Castle Crashers. I think is
If you want to feel
good.
nostalgic, I've been playing Mega Man Legacy Collection. If you like, that's like Mega Man 1 through 6 from the NES.
Right.
And if you want to play and feel like, when I play those games,
I don't
it
know.
makes
I
me feel
just
like
look like a
little kid.
bad dudes with like good like decent
Yeah.
graphics. Even
What
Battletoads 2D.
Tim, what I think's happening here though, it's not necessarily that all these games are the same. No, no. With self-publishing, these games can just come out whenever, and tons of them come out. So it ends up looking like shovelware is just all over the store, and it's hard to wade through all this content
The
and
store
find the really
sucks,
good
right?
games.
Does
And
the
what's
store
hard,
suck?
yeah, the store sucks, but even
Still, for
besides
3
that
years
point
now.
though, the store even with the store, being great, you would still get tons and tons
To
of
be
content
fair,
to the point where you got to wade through a lot of crap. I mean, I don't want to call, all these developers and what they do crap, but some of it is. And with Xbox Live Arcade, it was on a set schedule. You had 2 games this week, 2 games the next week, and because of that, everything rolled out in a pretty nice way to where you never felt like like things were cluttered and that all these bad games were coming out at once.
It almost seems like the Xbox Store in general is starting to become like the app market and the Android market, where there's
They
just so
all
much
are.
shit and you fucking scroll
Dude.
through like, oh, here's the top free games.
Dude.
You're like
Yeah.
scroll.
Go-
That's
Oh,
everywhere
And
though.
there's
Wii U
so
and PS4
much.
have the same issue right now. It's because of
Yeah.
self-publishing.
hey,
And the
go
thing
to
is, I mean-
Steam. Go to Steam right now and go to the green light market. And
Mhm.
look how much that is the biggest piece of shit. And mostly it's because it's a democracy. And it's because only the stuff people vote for got approved. So that means if people thought something looked cool, then it got voted for rather than something that deserved it. But but it just even Steam's full of shit. As popular as Steam is, their
Steam
store
has it the
sucks.
best way though.
No, their
They
store
have the
still
best store,
sucks though.
hands down. It's not. It's better than. It's a good store. I
No,
could say.
dude,
For what-
I own 500 games on Steam. Their store sucks. It really does. Like trying to find a game on Steam sucks.
I think they are actually pretty good at putting higher quality content on the front page. I mean, I'm not saying that they'll do it every time.
What we're talking
but I
about is
think
wading
that
through the
Steam does a
games,
pretty
though.
good job.
What we're talking about is wading through the thousands of games to find some, though. We're not just talking about looking at the ones. Like, of course, you're going to find Kerbal Space Program on the front of Steam, but there's thousands of other games that get released at the same time, and the same problem on Xbox and stuff. But it's 10 times worse on Steam because there's 10 times the amount of games being released. There's a lot of games on Steam that are really good, but no one knows about them because it doesn't get the publicity it deserves. But that's just the way it is.
Shouldn't they, as far as like these indie games, shouldn't they make a separate indie page?
No,
I mean, I know they want to keep games under games, but I mean, shouldn't it be like games and then indie games? Because I think that would make it a lot easier. So you could
that was Ray Cantazza. That guy was on, and he's fucking throwing a shit fit about this. What's his name? Greg Cantanza?
Canessa.
Canessa. I'm sorry for butchering his name. I'm bad at that, but he's actually complained about the same thing. It's like the games. I don't know. I see the games. You know, I just feel like they're just not. I don't know. I feel like the store needs to be better. It just doesn't.
Oh yeah. I think they need to somehow categorize certain games because and give these indie games their due because there's just so much shit in the store.
Well, maybe they should, like in the store. I don't know. Could they promote it?
How do you categorize it and make it like so?
Okay, you do it.
Indie games. No. But when you put something as just indie games, it says, well, these are the indie games. They're not.
How about we were talking about Bad Dudes and we were talking about these games have an arcade folder or whatever. Or
I think they need to do. I think they need to keep them mixed, but at the same time have an indie category.
Right.
Like you can go, like let's say the store comes
like
up,
a self-publishing category.
Like the store comes up and you have the main games, but the main games could include indie titles, and then you have a little thing that says indie games.
ID at Xbox, yeah.
And then you have all the indie games with the big ones and all that. But if you back out, you still get indie games mixed in. I think
I'm actually going to it right now, and I'm going to take a look at this thing
because before. Well, before with the 360 store, you didn't have indie games like in the main thing. You had to go specifically into the indie store, the arcade store, to find the arcade games.
Well, they could make a special tab for the ID at Xbox.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Let's let Steve talk. Steve was trying to get in, and we interrupted.
Well, so the first thing I would say to Tim is this kind of the same with everything, is that, you always have to, I mean, you look back in the early 360 days, and there was a lot of crappy AAA games. They didn't have such a ridiculous amount of releases, but all the people that are now making indie games were making crap like Legendary and stuff like that. So you're always going to have to be a bit careful, and you're always going to get very similar things. I mean, you look at the AAA market now, and a lot of the stuff is open world games, and they just throw content at you. But with the with the indie problem, I don't think they should have ever got rid of Xbox Live Arcade, because for a start it was a brand. But the thing is that the problem Microsoft had was that people did not like it because they curated content. They were, you took about 2 releases a week or 2 releases on a Wednesday, and then they did 2 releases on a Friday and stuff. But people hated them for it because Microsoft would turn around and say, we don't like your game, we're not going to release it. And they hated that curation, and they talk about the parity clause and stuff. But that's exactly what Microsoft did. They rejected plenty of good quality games that went to PlayStation 3 or Steam and sold massively. They hated them for it. So how do they stop releasing these absolute glut of content every week without being made to seem like the big bad wolf? Because they're the ones that are turning around to people and saying, well, actually, we don't think your game's good enough. How
they
do they
can't, and no one's doing it either.
Well, how you can't say you can't.
Well,
you can never say that.
You can't.
There is a way if they really put their mind to it. Because you know what the thing is that I remember reading in 2013 about how the fucking store sucked. And I said, you know what? It'll probably get itself fixed out. Now it's 2016, and it just
Well,
seems like
that's a different issue though. The store can be separate from what's going on with
you're
crowding the
talking
market
about
with indie
curation
titles. Yeah,
and discoverability, but it just doesn't seem like right now they have new releases and it's a total of 5 games with
different versions of the same games too,
well,
because
it's like Pixel
Yeah, they need to take
Piracy,
out.
Lords of the Fallen. Then they have Coming Soon, so they're selling Coming Soon, which doesn't need to be there. I mean, or it just like has Far Cry Primal, a bunch of Plants vs Zombies. That's just horrible. And then
See,
they
they
have
need to
Top
just have
Rating.
one. If there's multiple versions of the games, like sometimes there's the deluxe digital and then the regular digital and the gold digital. They just need to have one. Like Forza 6, how many different fucking versions is in the store? You know what I mean? So if they just had
But
one Forza 6, so it's not cluttering, and then
but
you
it's
could
done
go
that way
into that.
deliberately.
That's
It's
the
a it's
problem
a
with.
it's a very deliberate thing where was it the thing in the retail shop where you put the same product at the start of the shelf and at the end of the shelf so that you see it and then you think about it as you go through and then you get to the end and it makes you more tempted to buy it.
well, then
Like
they
they
need
could
to make more spaces for games then if they're going to do that.
well, exactly,
Right, they have
but
to
it's a
make it
very
smaller.
deliberate plan.
They could make it smaller. These fonts or whatever the pictures of the game are way too big. You can make them smaller. They have to have more games showing on the first storefront when I go and I do 3 right clicks to the right with the RB and you
Mhm.
get game section. I gotta say right now, looking at this is pretty. It's too big. They're not showing enough games. They could do a better job here.
And
Yeah,
also, not being
absolutely.
funny, but when you compare this store to what the store was like at launch, this is actually significantly improved.
Yes, it is.
Because
Right.
because I remember there was a game came out and all 4 slots were just occupied by the same game. You know,
Yes.
there is a problem here. But
I don't think they'll ever fix it. I don't want to
well,
get the guy
No,
fired.
I
I
think
think
they
Let's just
will.
let
They
them.
will.
The
I
main
hope they fix
well,
problem,
no, I'm not sure they
the
will
main
because it's
problem.
deliberate.
No,
It's
You look at
deliberate. You're right.
why have
no, I
Microsoft
don't.
released
I don't.
hold on. Why have Microsoft released a Zoo Tycoon and Screen Ride Fun Pack on the 19th of February 2016? Zoo Tycoon came out over 2 years ago. Screen Ride came out almost a year ago. They just put it there, and it's exactly the same with all the other stuff in there. Is to just shove everything back to the top to make people look at it, think it's new, and go and buy it.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's. I mean, you could say it's deliberate, but to me, it seems more like a limitation in the system they created. In that the limitation is that they can't just make a store page that opens up to have multiple connections to store pages. Instead, they need to make a single fucking thing for every single store page for every single version of the damn game. Because
I
every single
Let
game
me ask
does
you
it.
guys a
Like all of
question.
them does it. Like there's not a single game that doesn't.
Okay, you have Steam, and now you have Sony. What about Sony's? When you first
Sony's
go to
is
Sony,
bad. Sony's is bad.
Sony's is
It's,
bad as well.
yeah, it's a mess. Yeah, the Sony stores.
You see more games on Sony's for sure.
Sony's is
Yeah.
bad in its own way, though. It's kind of a mess itself. Like when you go to the new games, it doesn't bring you to like a library with the new games. It brings you to a separate splash page with big giant new games that you have to scroll from left to right. It's pretty confusing too.
Eventually, you can find like a massive grid, but
Right.
it's a bit.
Right.
awkward.
I'm gonna load up Steam right now, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna see what the storefront
Yeah.
looks like.
Well, Steam's gotten to be a bit of a mess too, but I think Steam does it the best still. I'm hoping that with the Windows 10 store and with the Xbox One store, as they learn from both of them, maybe they'll figure something out that works since they want to try to unite them. So hopefully we'll see that. But we got to move on to the next news. And since we were talking about indie games, Roll 7's latest game is hitting Xbox One this year. In partnership with Team 17, Ali Ali 2 XL Edition and Not a Hero Super Snazzy Edition will be launching on Xbox One. Ali Ali 2 is a pixel art skating game, and the original launched on Xbox One via Curve Digital in March 2015. The sequel's release will include a free skate mode with 5 new levels to practice on, as well as 5 new worlds, 50 more levels, and 250 challenges. Not a Hero is a surreal rapid shooter, which will include the new Me, Myself, and Bunny Lord expansion with 3 new levels and a new playable character. So here's some more so-called PlayStation 4 exclusives that are going to be on Xbox One. So they're all coming, or it feels that way.
I'm actually excited about these two games, because
Mm-hmm.
they're actually supposed to be very good. I mean, I'm not too bothered about Oli Oli. I think I had it on PS Plus, but Not Hero is supposed to be really good. Like nice, funny pixel art cover shooter,
Mm-hmm.
quite nice mechanics to it. So I'm actually very excited about these.
I'm just glad all these games are coming over now. It seemed
Yeah.
like they might not for a little while, about like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And now they're all kind of trickling in, and for the most part, they're all coming out. And the games that are first on Xbox One are also coming to PS4, so
It's
they're
hard
all
to
getting the same libraries.
It's hard to ignore a third of the entire market.
Yeah.
I know
Well,
people are
yeah, look
like,
at Rocket League. I mean, it's
yeah.
got a ton of people playing it right now.
I know a lot of people are like, well, Sony, they have double the market share. Yeah, but there's still 20 million people to sell to on Xbox One. That's a lot of fucking money still, even if it's not close to what Sony offers right now. I mean,
Well, I imagine these time contracts are going away too.
yeah.
They're expiring. Is what's happening essentially.
That's why there's so many rumors of PlayStation 4 exclusives that are not really exclusives.
They're timed, yeah.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to talk about it.
Right.
Perfect example, Hellblade. That game's coming to Xbox.
Well, what about The Witness? I mean,
The Witness, he wants to come to Xbox.
Wasn't The Witness where it's like, oh, I can't say anything, then it released on PS4, and it was like, yeah, we're thinking about it now.
I got news for you. The type of shit that he did might they might not be in a rush, Microsoft, to get his game on Xbox One.
Yeah, they don't have a good relationship.
Trust me
with
on
Jonathan
that.
Blow. I
Trust
know.
me on that.
Yeah, Microsoft and Jonathan Blow are not on.
He really
best
kind of
terms.
went over the board. And
What happened again? I can't remember.
They made the development of Braid, according to him, very awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also said that he claimed that Microsoft did something and it wasn't true. It was something like they sold his game without his permission, or something like that, and it turned out he was wrong.
He said that they'd put it on sale without his permission or something, and then when he went and checked his contract, it said, well, we're the publisher, so actually we can put it on sale whenever we want.
Yeah, no shit.
So he just
if you're going to argue, with any company when it comes to contracts, Microsoft's probably the wrong one. I think last I heard they have 2,000 lawyers on payroll. Like, they know their fucking contracts. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah. And then he didn't go there. Then he was out. He said that the Microsoft was lying about the cloud, and he also I actually got into a fight with him.
There were a few developers that had beefs with the whole Xbox Live Arcade system, though, because you also got to remember Phil Fish had the issues, and then also who was the developer that worked on Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac?
Millard, teammate.
Yeah, that was another group that had their issues too.
Phil Fish took his ball and went home.
Yeah, he did.
Fucking baby. Sorry.
Well, I will say that all of these people, as much as I appreciate that it may not have been the greatest experience, and I do think that, with the amount of complaints that there was at the time, Microsoft were clearly being far too rigid about some things. The three people that were just listed, I'm pretty sure, all did get absolutely minted from Xbox Live Arcade.
Yeah.
As well. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if I were Microsoft, I wouldn't want to cause some incident about getting the Witness on Xbox One. If he wants to do it, do exactly what he needs
just
to do.
Let him.
Just let him put it on there. Don't cause a problem, because it'll just cause some hassle, because he'll turn around and say, oh, well, actually, we wanted to put it on Xbox One, but Microsoft said no, because he will go and say it. And to be honest, if I was him, I probably would as well if I was blocked.
Well, I hate to say it, if he does that, there's a lot of ammo against him with the stuff that he said. He was very not cool to Microsoft.
Yeah, but
he was really.
People don't side with Microsoft over these things. They're going to side. They're going to side with the little guy.
NeoGAF is going to. Let's do a fucking.
No, it's not even just NeoGAF.
Yeah,
people tend to side. No, people tend to side with the little guy.
Bottom line is
the underdog. The underdog.
If he talked, trust me, it wouldn't go over well for him. I would if he has no right to talk.
But I'll just say this,
at
Tim.
at the
I'll
end
just-
of the day, Microsoft will probably
But
he'll
Tim-
come back a little groveling, and Microsoft will probably say we can
and hopefully nothing comes out about it because The Witness is a good game, and we want this on Xbox One. I'll just tell you that it's
at
a
the
good
end
game.
of the game, it's
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
my opinion is even though he's a raging douchebag dick, I don't care. I'll take his game, whatever. I'll play his game.
Hey, plenty.
You know
Look,
what I mean?
all you got to say about that is there's plenty of entertainers out there that are raging douchebag dicks, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy their.
Right, at the end of the day-
We
at the end of
gotta
the day-
move on. We gotta move
But
on,
at the
Tim.
end
We
of the
can't.
day,
We
I
can't
will
talk bad
say-
about people anymore.
I will say one thing though.
I don't. Jonathan Blow is a douchebag.
I will
Okay, we're
look.
moving
I
on.
look.
We're
I
moving
will.
on. It's entertaining. We're moving
Hold
on.
on.
All right, next
I
news
will
article.
say-
February Xbox One update launches tomorrow. Yeah, it adds the ability to see who is in a party before joining. You can rearrange pins more easily, as well as viewing them offline. The Avatar store is on there now, and they're adding the gamer score leaderboard. You can also customize the X1 and X2 buttons in your chat pad now, plus view and an updated activity feed. So some good stuff. One thing that's cool about the chat pad X1 and X2 buttons, I heard you could actually set it to be the guide. So instead of double tapping the Xbox center button, you could just click one button, which is kind of nice. I think that's pretty cool. I might actually do that.
See, I would get the chat pad, but I like using the chat adapter, and I like having my volume and mute controls on that. Is that on the?
It has.
It
them
is.
On there.
Does it?
Yeah.
Well
they're on
then.
the side.
You can
Go.
mute. You can put the volume up and down. You got all your keys
Well, then I
right
guess I
there.
will have to pick one up then.
Screenshots, videos. Oh yeah, it's good. It's
You're a
nice.
good salesperson, Vern.
It's nice. I like it. Plus, it fits really nicely with the Elite controller. Works fine with the flippers. Yeah.
And you get a screenshot and a record button.
That's awesome.
Well, those are the X1 and X2 buttons which you can customize.
Yeah.
Because I can take screenshots. My capture card. I changed X1 to snap the achievements app, which is really nice. Just pressing the button and it's like instant. I love it. It's really good. Works really well. I didn't even know you could do it until yesterday, and then someone on I think some guys on Gaff were talking about it, and I was like, "What the hell?" And they're like, "Go and try it." And it's not in the controller
app?
It's not. It's under the devices settings in the big settings thing. So if you
Right,
can find
that
your
makes
chat pad
sense.
in there, and then you can choose them in there. But it's really coolly done because you can choose to launch an app, and then you can choose which app to launch. So it's all been. There's clearly been some common sense thought about this, and it's done really well.
Mm-hmm. I still think they need to get this UI working a little better. I mean, it's nice to get these updates like this, but I don't know if you guys feel this way, but it still feels a little laggy overall.
Yeah, I agree. There's a little bit of lag sometimes.
We're not gonna get past it. It's
I've noticed that if I hard reset it, it seems to speed it up.
yes.
It's better, but it's the overlay. When you double click the button and you can do your friends and all that. I mean, it's nice and fast as far as being able to start parties and all that, but it's just laggy. You'll press down a few times and it won't move, and suddenly it'll just move 3 times real fast. Stuff like that.
Well,
I'd like to see that get a little
when
better.
when you get that, you have to hard reset. If you see that or it's not responsive, there's something running in the background that's loading up the system. When you see that happen, and especially comes out after it's been in hibernation, like for some reason, even with Windows, anytime it comes out of hibernation, same thing with Xbox. There's always something that's a problem. So,
But
it
also happens when
too
you're playing
much.
games too, and when you're playing the game is when you're going to invite a friend to your game. So I'd like to see them be able to optimize that a bit more. That was my only issue I was saying.
Do you guys think that at the event this next week they'll talk about Cortana on Xbox One?
I'm hoping.
Probably.
I don't know.
I think they'd say something. I doubt it'll be a real push.
I think they're taking they want to make Cortana. I think she's going to be.
I'm getting
at the end of the day, it'll be it might take a little longer to get her because they're working on it, and I think they want to make it good. So take your time.
Well, they said that the preview members would be testing it early on in the year. So, and now we're almost off February.
I get the feeling that
True.
this event is going to be less about Xbox and more about Xbox on Windows 10.
Yeah,
Probably.
So.
As this,
Well,
as it's
it's
going.
really there's on Gaff. There's a guy who apparently had the itinerary on there. It just seems like it's a preview event. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be much. I mean, I'm not being funny because they may well be like, here's the games with gold for March.
Which we got a rumor for that. Might be worth talking about.
We did. I forgot to put that on there. There's rumors for all of it now.
Well, there's always rumors, and I mean,
but these are good rumors.
And the Fate was good last month, but I mean, I just don't like Sherlock Holmes.
It's the same guy who leaked that, right?
No, it's the same guy who leaked. He's leaked 2 previous ones, and both of them were spot on. I think he said the Xbox One games were Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments, which is really good. Yeah, and Lords of the Fallen, and the 360 games were Borderlands and Supreme Commander 2, which is an RTS.
Dude,
and that is already backwards compatible.
Supreme Commander is fucking awesome. I'm just going to say that. It's a great game.
If all of you need to play Sherlock Holmes, because that game is really good, and the sequel is out May 27th.
Is that the Sherlock Holmes game where they forgot to write the script for, what's his name? What's his sidekick? Watson. They forgot to script him to actually walk and follow him, so he actually just teleports behind you and freaks you out on purpose.
It's like that murdered soul suspect.
I guess we'll find out. Yeah,
scares you.
It was funny because they knew it happened, so they said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna keep it."
That's good that they own it and just left it in there. Like, you know what? It's a fun little feature you guys could have.
Yeah.
Why fix
it? Steve, you might like this. A rumor: Sherlock Holmes game coming to free Xbox games with gold.
Tim.
Yes.
That's exactly what we've been talking about for the last couple minutes. I did the same thing a couple of weeks ago. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. It's all good. All right, but yeah, that would be a great thing if true. Like that'd be a good set of 4 games. So hopefully that's the case. All right, Minecraft Loot Chest is launching. I don't really think any of us here care all that much about this, but a monthly shipment service of exclusive t-shirts, collectibles, and do-it-yourself crafting recipes sent to your doorstep. The Loot Crate-esque service costs $30 a month plus tax and $7 shipping. It releases in May. Sign up for the beta to get an extremely limited Mine Chest beta version. It's only available in the US for now.
It's too expensive.
This is awesome for Dustin, and maybe Maria, my wife might like this, but
I love Minecraft, but I mean, aren't most of the Loot Crate services like $20 a month? It's $30 plus tax plus shipping here, so you're looking around probably $40. It seems expensive.
No, I think they're around 30, and then for like special editions, they're like 50 to 100. So, it's actually a pretty normal price, I think. But the $7 shipping plus, that's when it gets a little But I mean,
it's
really into Minecraft.
They're going to make so much fucking money from this. And that costs more than the actual game does.
You know what's funny is the amount of people that gave Microsoft shit for paying $2 billion for Minecraft.
I know.
Jesus Christ, dude!
Wow.
They bought them at the right time.
Oh my God! How much would they sell for today if they
Probably
really wanted to sell the franchise?
They would definitely want to double down at least.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't really done a whole lot.
It's not the game. It's the toys that they're selling, like the toys and all the merchandise, that Minecraft merchandise.
Do they have a deal with Lego or Mega Block?
How much do you guys think it would be worth right now?
I don't know.
Just take
$3 billion.
More.
A lot more, right?
At least 150 million.
I would say 3.5 to 4 billion. So they're already almost doubling. It was a smart deal.
Yeah,
it really was.
I was actually thinking about this the other day. I don't know why. I think I was seeing how the Minecraft story mode discs are, they're starting to come down in price over here. And I was thinking that they really should, because I think they've got a real, what's the word? Like the possibility to kind of shape how these people or these kids, what sort of gaming experiences that they like. They've done obviously they've got the main Minecraft game, they've got the Minecraft Telltale game. Like I'm surprised they haven't done things like some sort of platformer or.
It'll happen eventually. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a movie eventually too.
Yeah.
And But what I think is interesting about like kids who play Minecraft, that it's not even that they're interested in video games. They're just interested in Minecraft. It's like
Mhm.
video
Yeah.
games is a completely separate thing from Minecraft. Minecraft is just Minecraft, you know? Just like football is football. You know, it's its own
You're
thing.
right. This is a very good way of describing it, and that's why it sells. That's why it just doesn't stop selling,
And unlike
because
Yeah.
each kid gets into it, and then they just become it. You know,
and
Yeah,
unlike the
it's more than
fad,
just a brand though, you know?
and unlike the
it's
fad of like the
like you
Wii,
said, it's like the NFL. Like in a way, it's just like their thing. Like it's not really. They love the video game, but it's deeper than that in a way. I
It's kind
agree.
of how Call of Duty is in its own way too.
Yeah.
Every year, you know. What were you
I
saying,
think
Jason?
I was
I'm sorry.
saying it's like unlike something like the Wii, which was a giant fad, but it relied on that generation. As soon as that generation was over, the fad was over. Like the sales stopped. But like Minecraft, it's on everything, so it's just gonna keep fucking going until people get sick of it. And it seems to even be going farther because I think a lot of people are sick of it by now. I don't know.
Guess we'll see. What were you saying, Steve?
It's just sort of what I was saying there. I think it will be interesting how these kids grow up with games, particularly as they're clearly getting into them so early. So, and how, whether in 10 years or so, how gaming may well have moved away a bit from these military shooters and all this open world crap, because this new sort of group that's moving up is interested in perhaps different kinds of games.
Well, Microsoft has an
point.
opportunity, kind of like Nintendo had with Mario, I feel. And now how Mario is over all these different types of games and, in media and,
They could
TV and
definitely-
whatever, That's what they could do with Minecraft. It could be kind of Microsoft's Mario,
Yeah.
What
stretched
about
out over
Minecraft
everything.
2? What about Minecraft
No,
2?
it's a service.
Okay, but what if they do it in a way where they update the whole engine, graphics? Could that be the next step?
They could do that without making a Minecraft too.
Wouldn't they just probably call it 2.0?
No, they would
Yeah, but they wouldn't sell it as 2.0. They just call it 2.0 when you start it up. Or
Is
something.
that a realistic thing? Do you
I
think they'll do
don't-
that?
I don't think they will do anything to mess with the base version on PC. I
Right.
don't think they would take that risk.
And plus, realistically, what would a Minecraft Part 2 be? I mean, yeah,
Well,
you
it's
could
Better
spend more on.
graphics.
It'll probably.
Oh,
yeah,
then you
look,
just
that's-
do that
that's
as
how-
like an update. What are you
So
saying,
for
Steve?
people on PC, that doesn't even really matter because the texture.
Well, I'm
packs
talking
and
about
stuff.
you could do a different engine. What engine does that run on?
It's Java, right? Or it was
Yeah.
Java,
on
It was
PC.
Java.
and it runs like shit.
Couldn't you do that with higher fidelity graphics and stuff like that? It's
Oh,
building.
easily.
Building is
Imagine,
building.
if you will, Minecraft Unreal 4. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I mean. I'm not a developer. I don't know how they build those things, but why? What would be the risk of
Alienating the entire PC base.
Yeah, and you'd break all
Oh,
of their
because
mods.
because you could play it on some
All the mods and everything that have been made, the texture packs,
If
Oh,
they
I wish the
were
mods would come to console.
if
at least
they were
Xbox.
to ever do anything like that, they'll make it in Unity and not Unreal, because Unity would be much quicker for them to get the content going. I think
What? Yeah, I agree.
to produce
It
content.
would be a lot
Technically-
more of a bigger undertaking if you do the Unreal Engine 4.
Technically, they already did it with x86 with the Windows 10 edition. And by the way, you know how bad the Java version runs when you load the Java version, and it takes 5 minutes for all the little areas to load. But then you load the x86 version, and like a split second, everything fucking loads. Like Java is just awful for that game, but so.
All right, let's move on. Last bit of news, which most of us probably don't care for either. Just
I
Cause
asked-
3 DLC. What did you ask, Steve?
I asked if anybody cared about this, and Tim said that he did, so I put it in for him.
Okay, so Tim cares about this. Just Cause 3 is getting DLC. Sky Fortress DLC launching in March. It adds the Bavarium wingsuit, which adds
Yeah.
Bavarium machine gun and rockets. It includes 3 to 4 hours of new gameplay with new missions and challenges, as well as more weapons and a new drone. The Mechland Assault Pack and Bavarium Sea Heist Pack are also due by the end of 2016, summer 2016. The season pass also gives 1 week early access to the DLC. So you're excited about this, Tim?
Yeah,
Big Just Cause fan?
Well, I like Just Cause, but I mean, I saw something that was, I think it was the suit that they're talking about, where he's like, I saw a screenshot and I was like, I just got pumped for it. So
Me
I think
too.
I'm buying the DLC.
How is Just Cause 3 run right now? They fix any of the framed issues and shit like that at launch?
I haven't played it that much to really to think. I like the game, but like I was saying, I'm kind of like indied out, so I think I'm gonna give it a chance. But I heard it was still running like shit for
Yeah. That's disappointing because I can't stand games running like shit. I mean, I know a lot of people can look past it, but I mean,
Beer didn't like it. Beer just said there's no concept to the game, but for some
it's
reason,
it's another one of those like we
It's
were
a
talking
playground.
earlier.
yeah,
It's a
which is what I
sandbox.
like, which
Yeah.
is what I get gratification.
Yeah,
I think
I like going around just doing stupid shit. I mean, that's the type of game to do stupid shit
Right.
in. So, I mean, I don't want to buy it if there's still frame issues and maybe when
I'm
it goes on.
actually buying it right now. It's the second game I'm buying. I'm buying it right now. I want to play it.
Oh,
MPD
Tim.
Warrior.
Speaking of buying games, new games, what are our releases? Steve.
Oh, I do have the list. Okay. The first release is a game I'm looking forward to quite a lot and probably needs not much of an introduction. On the 23rd of February is Far Cry Primal.
You getting that, Steve?
I am, but I'll probably have to wait a couple of days.
It's getting good
But I'm
press.
Is it?
Yes. People who have played it and technically aren't under NDA or anything are saying it's really great. So
That's
I'm hearing
good to
good
hear.
things.
I was skeptical, to be honest with you, and I'm glad that it's
Always
getting good press.
If there's one thing that Ubisoft have been doing right ever since the abomination that was Far Cry 2 is Far Cry. They've got the formula down. It works. Yeah, don't ever question Far Cry. I can't be having that. So yes, that's out next Tuesday, and also out next Tuesday is Plants vs Zombies: Garden Warfare 2.
It's a big week.
It is a big week. After that, I assume that doesn't really need much explanation. On the 24th is The Flame and the Flood, which is an indie game. It's a roguelike journey through the backwaters of a forgotten post-societal America. Forage, craft, and evade predators. Actually, it looks quite nice, actually. It's kind of isometric-y. You know,
The art
you are
style's
surviving.
really nice, though.
Yeah, it looks really nice and sharp. It's been in early access on PC. For some reason they didn't bring it to game preview on Xbox, but it's out next week and looks really good. There's an interesting game. Here we go. Interesting is not necessarily a good thing, by the way. It's called Replay VHS is Not Dead. Okay. And this is a pixel art puzzle platform game set in a movie-based universe. So you can record the player's movements, use the remote control powers to bend time, change the character and play again to combine actions. There's about 70 levels in 4 different movie-based universes. If anybody wants to buy that and let me know how it works out, that'd be really interesting. It's it looks alright. Quite interesting. I don't know if I'd buy it myself. Then there's another game coming out called Reagan Gorbachev.
Gorbachev, yeah.
I'm actually interested.
Gorbachev.
It's a
Yeah,
Minecraft. It's a Minecraft
Mikhail
clone.
Gorbachev.
The year is 1986. Cold War leaders Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev have been kidnapped by militant extremists. Once rivals, now they must cooperate or die.
That's
Sneak,
amazing.
slash, or shoot your way through an army of mercenaries, save the world from nuclear Armageddon. Now that all sounds quite interesting, and then you look at the screenshots, and it is a very basic-looking, top-down game in the art style.
It's kind of Hotline Miami-esque the way
that game
looks.
freaking
Yeah.
interests me right now. You sold me there on that.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Reagan Gorbachev.
Tim's gonna buy it.
Yeah, it's out.
Mine right now.
It looks really goofy.
Let me take a look at this.
So basically, it's
next up,
Army of Two Cold War edition.
Pretty much, yeah.
yeah, and it's like top down with a fairly ugly art style, if I'm being honest.
Is it anything like Akari Warriors from NES?
Like what?
Akari
No,
Warriors.
no, but it's not like it constantly scrolls up or anything like that did. You know? Yeah.
That game was a good game.
Next up. Oh, sorry, what were we going to say, Van?
I was just gonna say if they do a sequel, it should be Trump and Putin. They're like best buddies now, apparently.
Well, apparently the people of Russia love Putin, so the guy's a billionaire and Russia's poor, but they still love him.
But anyway, continue.
Next up is Tiny Troopers Joint Ops, which finally hits Xbox One. It's like a twin stick shooter. You're just going through maps and shooting stuff, and it's got some Xbox exclusive content with like zombie maps and that sort of thing. It's isometric. It looks quite interesting. Twin stick shooter, I think it's about $10. Then we get a new Xbox game preview title called The Solus Project, which is the survival game set on a foreign planet, and there's aliens trying to attack you, and you need to survive. The content rollout, I think, as I might have said last week or a few weeks ago, is that they're going to release sort of new sort of levels every few weeks. It's only going to be in early game preview for about 3 months. They just want help with some bugs and balancing and that sort of thing. So Tim might be interested in that. And that is it for releases. Unless there's any DLC out this, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
Sounds
I don't know.
good.
I don't know what to think of that Reagan Gorbachev game. I might just get it.
I would wait for reviews, Tim.
Yeah.
Wait for reviews.
What a concept, though! Like, what a story.
I don't think they're going to be very favourable.
I'm waiting for the Pixar movie. So
yeah, that would be a good buddy movie. Yeah, you're right. That sounds good. All right, let's move on to letters. We have 4 letters, so we got some stuff here. The first one is from the Wicked Soul. It is titled "The Worst Letter in Existence." So I'm excited about this one. So, what are the lyrics to Xbox Uncut's hit single "Chloroform and Oreos"? The reason I ask this is because I would like to use the song to serenade a potential mate. You know, standing outside her house, throwing pebbles at her bedroom window to get her attention, holding a boombox on my shoulder. Well, I guess now it'll be a wireless Bluetooth speaker, but it's not as manly. I'm thinking lyrically it might be like a Cannibal Corpse song from the Chris Barnes era. But what do I know? I'm really counting on this, guys. Don't let me down. Love, Wicked Soul, XOXO.
just play some easy, man.
This is hard to come up with on the spot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how do you do this on the spot?
And the chloroform part was my fault, so
Don't do that.
All right, I'll be right back.
You're going to get
Tim's going to get his acoustic guitar, and we're going to fucking hash it out right now.
No, that's not happening.
All I'm saying is there's 2 people with Macs in this room that are supposed to be creative, so.
I mean, maybe secretly, quietly, without anybody knowing anything, I was working on a little Oreo chloroform intro that's not turning out as well as I had hoped. Just because the music that I got kind of sucks. I don't like it.
Yeah.
You
Right,
went to the
so
store
we
and looked at all
might
the
need a few
Oreos.
weeks on this, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe we'll sing it, and I can I'll write lyrics and have you guys sing your parts, and then I can piece them together so it sounds very full.
Yeah.
Well,
Are you gonna double stuff it, or are you gonna mega stuff it?
quad stuff it?
There's no such thing as a quad stuff.
Yes, there is. You take 4 Oreos, and then you peel out the
breaking the
cream, and you
rules.
stick it on one cookie.
What if
Yeah.
you take 2 mega stuff Oreos?
And then you lace it with chloroform.
hmm No, after they
Let's
chew
not-
and they are
let's
like,
not
"Oh, I
lace
need a
anything."
napkin," you go, "Here you go." you mouth them with it.
No, you lace the cookie. That way when you smell the cookie to get the bouquet, as Greg Miller calls it, you pass out.
Mm.
And you go to sleep, with a smile on your face, but you just smelled some Oreos. It's a wonderful thing.
I agree.
What do we think the song would be like, though?
Probably dubstep.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? With some, what's that? Not a violin. What is that? A fiddle?
Yeah, a fiddle.
Yeah, we'll put a little fiddle in there.
Yeah.
Could have a
Why not?
saxophone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the saxophone's coming back, man. I'm
That's
hearing
right.
saxophone solos all the time in songs now. That's like back in the 80s when I was growing up, the saxophone was the bomb. You played saxophone to get the ladies. Then in the 90s something happened and saxophone was just not cool anymore.
Yeah, it
You
was
know,
all
I'm
about
more of
They
a
started
wasn't
playing
it?
Kenny G everywhere. That's why.
yeah. I'm
That's
more
what
of
it
a
was.
clarinet.
Yeah. It was
Kenny
that
G
Kenny
killed
G
it.
soprano sax stuff that turned everyone off.
You know, quick story about Kenny G. I was probably like 14 years old. My best friend at the time, his mom took us to go see a movie, and in the movie or like in the theater, they're playing like that light rock Kenny G shit. And she goes, "Oh, I think this is Kenny G." I'm like, "Oh, I love Kenny G." She goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's the best." And then for my birthday that year, she bought me a Kenny G CD.
Needless to
Did you listen
say,
to it every day?
No, I listened to it once and I was like, you know what? The thought is what counted.
Here, you want a nice story? The Oceanfront over Virginia Beach Oceanfront, they actually play Kenny G at night to get people to leave.
I would stay.
That's awesome.
Kenny
Did
G is
anybody-
love making music because you just get
did
that
anybody see the
rhythm.
Kenny G South Park episode?
I
Uh,
think I did, but I don't remember it.
Isn't that
section
the,
with Steve Garrison's dad?
Oh, yeah. I was thinking that it might have been the Brown Noise episode, but no, you're right.
Yeah, it
is
was.
Person's dead.
all right, we waited
Yes.
on Tim long enough.
All right.
All
I'm
right,
here.
let's.
Oh,
Oh,
there's
Goddamn,
Tim.
he's back.
Hi,
get
Tim.
your guitar.
What?
Your guitar?
Did you get your
Get your
electric
guitar?
keyboard?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Yes.
work this out. What key are we gonna do this song in?
His house key.
It's got to be D
Are we
minor,
singing? Are
the
we
saddest,
actually really
the
singing?
saddest of all keys, right?
Yeah. Well, no, it shouldn't be the saddest of all keys because chloroform and Oreos is a brightening day.
But you
Yeah,
can be
Oreo.
kind of melancholy about it, right? And once
We
it's
got to sing
over,
positively before you
Shouldn't
end
it
up
be a
going to
positive
prison.
note and then a negative note when the chloroform takes over? Or
yeah, exactly. It's got to have it's got to have a real up and down thing here.
so dubstep?
You need progress in this song. You need to tell a story.
It'll kind of be like that Edmund Fitzgerald song. We'll tell a story.
Yeah, it doesn't have to stay in D minor. It can modulate to major eventually, and it'll be okay. It'll be happy at the end. We could just start out with a little
Let's
despair.
hear it.
Well, it's not happening right now. We need time. It may never happen actually.
Well,
Who
give
are we
me a
kidding?
little preview. Give me 5 keys. Just give me
Five
the first.
keys.
No, there's no preview. We gotta move on to the next
All right,
letter, Tim.
come on.
We need to get that
You want to
one
make
guy.
great radio? You hit. You make great podcasts.
You want to make great radio? You don't leave when we ask the questions.
Well, what? I don't understand that question. I'm sorry. I don't know what. I don't.
We should have. We should have done. Look.
We need time. We need
Look,
time for this. We can't just come up with it.
We're
on
gonna
the
have to
I
ask
love
you.
Wicked, but I don't understand the question. I don't know whatever's going
What
on
if?
there. It's
What
just
if we?
like,
What if we hire Gareth Coker to make Oreos and chloroform?
I don't know if he'll do it. He might charge a lot too.
He'll charge a lot, and he'll probably also never give us another interview again.
No,
We ask him
I'm,
to
we,
make.
I'm going to ask. No, yeah, we can't ask him that.
No, we're not asking him to write it.
What about Leonard DiCaprio? He'd do it.
Leonard
Yeah, good old Leonard will come through. I think.
I mean, he's obviously as a Brit, he's got probably a really great sense of humor, but it might not extend that far.
Yeah.
You know what Leonard has over Leonardo?
Well, maybe if we send him the episode and say, "Here, listen to this," so you get the gist of things.
We should
It's
not
not
do that.
It's not going to happen.
No.
We shouldn't
I
do
still
that.
say that podcast was podcast award worthy. That was very very fun.
What's it called? Like a Razzie? I mean, that's an
A
award.
Razzie. It's gonna go in the podcast Hall of Fame someday, Steve. You'll see. I don't know. You have to be a
Okay.
doubter.
We gotta move on, guys. Next letter. This one's from Prophecy. He says, "Hello, everyone. How are each of you doing today?" Well, I think we covered that already in the beginning of the show, so you'll have to listen to the beginning of the show, Prophecy.
I'm a bit upset you haven't asked me since.
Oh, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, man. I appreciate the attention.
Well, Prophecy says that's good to hear. So my game-related questions are: can you clarify the differences between gaming on Windows 10 PC versus console? I understand with Gold you get free games each month, party chat, etc. What do you get when gaming on Windows 10 PC? I've heard different things, so I'm thinking people are confused. Well, first off, Windows 10 online gaming is not. There's no Xbox Live Gold for it. It's free. So
Yeah, so
um,
we're just the chumps that pay for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's pretty.
Absolutely.
That's pretty. They got to do something with that.
Yep, absolutely. But so yeah, that's the gist of it. There's not much more than that. They don't have any kind of gold subscription that lets you get free games on PC or anything. That's not saying that won't happen in the future. I mean, I don't think they'll ever charge for online gaming on PC again because it was such a
They really shouldn't
Disaster.
charge. In my
yeah,
opinion, I'd be okay if they didn't
yeah,
charge.
yeah. Well,
For I
yeah,
think like they had an
it's
Xbox Silver for the first party games on Microsoft servers. I would.
well,
I,
well, Steve said it
Third,
was a disaster when they did it last time
third,
with Mr.
third
Windows.
parties would go mad if Microsoft were like, "Hey, our games are free, but you have to pay to play COD."
Yeah, exactly.
They will flip a
they're
lid.
in a pickle. They're in a pickle in that aspect. They got to do something, in my opinion.
They have to make Xbox Live Gold worth it, like really worth it. They need to figure out how to incentivize it more.
If they were going to
Um,
do better games with gold, then. But I mean, you can only give away so many AAA's before, you know.
Right.
well,
You
there's
give
things they
Red
could
Dead.
do. Maybe Groove Music. They could bundle that in
Yes.
somehow. Um,
With backwards compatibility, E3, boom. It's free. That's a nice, fair move. But
what, to
they
make
won't
it
Yeah,
do
if
free?
that.
they came out at E3 and said this is what we're doing, if you no longer have to pay for multiplayer, that is just the standard Xbox Live. Now this is a new game. This is a new Xbox Gold, and they really incentive whatever that fucking word is, incentify. How do I say it?
Incentivize.
Whatever. We
Incentive-
know what you're saying.
Incentivize.
Yeah, I mean that they
Intensify.
Yeah, that word.
that
That should be
one.
the name of the episode.
Yes.
Incentivize.
Incentivize.
Yeah. But yeah, they definitely need to do something. If they took away the paywall behind multiplayer gaming at E3, it would be another backwards compatibility moment, like Tim said.
But that would also cost them probably billions every
Yeah,
year, and
it's
probably
never
probably plunge
Oh,
the
it's
division
billions.
into the red.
You think billions?
It wouldn't get them into the red, but it would be they wouldn't do it because they're making money on the model. But what they could do is maybe add Groove and a backwards compatibility announcement, and add it in. I mean, it's $60 a year, but they got to do something to just really kind of up it for current members because they are. I mean, I don't care. You can argue what you want, but it is not fair that they could play Gears 4 on PC and we have to play if you're a console
But
gamer. Just let me finish but it's I don't think that they should charge PC. I'm not saying that. They shouldn't charge. They have their deal. But they definitely have to do something to make us feel a little bit less like chumps. Because
Yeah.
like Steve said, we're chumps. It feels like it.
Well, they got a little time. I think people are going to be upset about it once the holiday season rolls around and there's crossplay with these people
Yep.
on PC who are paying $60 just like we are, yet they're getting it for free. That's when it's really going to come into play.
Mhm.
Like when Halo Wars 2 comes out, that's
It
when it's
would-
going to be weird.
It would be a huge thing if they did get rid of it, but outside
see
of
it happening.
outside of getting rid of it, I honestly don't see what they could do, and they are definitely not going to do that.
Compared to
Well, Steam does
compared
it
to
in
the
the end, and they're a successful
Yeah, but
model.
Steam doesn't host any of this. Doesn't host any servers for except for their games. It's
Right.
Developers pick what they want.
Well,
Yeah,
what
if
if they
they were-
said? What if they said first party titles you don't have to pay? There's no paywall behind first party.
But they're not going to do that because
What
they're
about dropping
Activision-
the price $10?
Well, they're not going to do
They could
that
do that,
because
but that's
Activision
it.
were the whole reason that they had to increase it by $10 anyway. Because Activision said, "Well, hold on, if all these millions of people are playing Call of Duty on Xbox Live, we want to cut."
Yeah. But they don't have a deal with Activision anymore for like anything.
Yeah,
Good.
but how many people on Xbox Live still pay still play COD, they'll still pay them just like they also pay EA. I don't know, and they probably pay all the third parties varying amounts. That's what the $60 is made up of. It's not just going into Phil Spencer's holiday fund.
I mean, it's a hard thing because Sony did it last year, and it wasn't like it was a necessary model. They could have kept going with it, and they'd be racking it up even more if their online was free. But in the end, they had to put money into it because they had to get it better and grow it. But I don't know. I just, like you said, you started the whole thing off, and you basically said we're chumps, and that's the problem. You don't want to feel like a chump. And
so they need to make us not feel that way somehow.
You gotta just kiss
and they
our
gotta
ass
figure
a
it out.
little.
They gotta figure it out soon.
Outside of going free, what could they possibly add that would make
groove music? And I could see groove music. I
if
don't
they offered
understand.
me groove music, I would turn around and say, "I've got Apple Music. I don't give two shits. I'm not."
Okay,
but groove music's pretty good. I like it.
You don't. Then you would call. Then you wouldn't say we're chumps though. You would just say, well, they just gave us some. They're stupid, but at least they're
they
trying.
Give me something I don't care about.
They have to do something.
Here's the thing,
to offset that debate, because like Vern said, when you're playing Halo Wars 2, there's gonna be a little bit of that. This is kind of cheesy. I think they should listen to the feedback on this and figure something out. It doesn't have to. It just be a nice gesture. I don't know. I don't work for Microsoft, but I can.
They got to brainstorm it and figure it out. And they don't have much time.
One reason that would make it viable to make it free is that the amount of money Enterprise makes them on the cloud. Like if they were to make it free tomorrow, they would still make tons of money on cloud. It wouldn't. The Azure would not stop being in the black.
But that doesn't help.
What if they add ads to games? What if when you're searching for a game,
Xbox isn't about making money?
Well, if that's the case, then why aren't they spunking even more billions and billions?
Because it's also not about wasting money either.
Steve, all they gotta do is put movie trailers and commercials during load screens. There you go, man.
Xbox, all Xbox is right now is it's their way to advertise their brand and get into the community, especially in a certain age range. That's all Xbox is. It's not about making money. If Xbox was about making money, they would have stopped making Xbox long ago.
I'm pretty sure that Phil has said.
No, Xbox making money matters, but it's not like at the end of the day, if they don't make money this year, Xbox is still going to keep going. Like it's not going to.
Oh yeah.
It's not even if they made Xbox Live Gold free, Xbox is going to still going because it's not about the money. The amount of money they would waste on Xbox is minuscule. Like they have tons and tons of money. Like they have 90 billion sitting overseas that they're doing nothing with right now. That could run Xbox for the next decade.
But if Xbox is making them a significant loss, their shareholders are going to be pissed.
It's not a significant loss, though, dude. It's not. You gotta remember.
I think that getting rid of Xbox Live fees would
it's
put
not
Xbox in a significant hole.
No, Xbox maybe, but not Microsoft. Xbox
no, but I'm talking about Xbox.
Yeah, but they don't. You got to remember, they don't.
The shareholders don't.
You have to remember,
just put their money into Xbox, though.
Xbox is no longer
but they're going to
counted
be pissed
as
off if Xbox is dragging them down.
No, because you're forgetting that they no longer count Xbox in their earnings as one entity anymore. It's combined with a bunch of different things. Even if like the next year Xbox were to lose $1 billion, that the earnings it's counted towards now, included with the rest of the departments, would still stay in the black. And there's a reason for that. It's counted with Surface, it's counted with all of that. It's not, and I'm not just talking about hardware. It's also, I believe, I believe it's actually counted with Windows now too. Like they have cloud, and then they have Windows and Surfaces.
Yeah.
And they've combined all that. But they did it for a reason. It's sly as fuck. They did it so they don't have to say they're losing money on Xbox.
Or
I'm not saying
another
it's right.
division, let's say
Right.
Xbox starts doing really well and makes money and another division doesn't do as well. They can hide it there. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason they did it. We got to move on to the next part of the question, though. Prophecy says, what PC setup do you recommend for me to start gaming on PC? Well, wait. Yeah.
Pascale.
Get a Steam machine that exclusively runs Steam OS.
There you go.
And get that
Bingo.
Steam controller.
No, I would definitely wait and see what kind of system requirements we're going to get on all these upcoming games that are going to be on PC from Microsoft, because things could change, and we know new video cards are coming out too. So
I think Quantum Break will give you a good idea of the fact that you're going to need a high-end rig.
absolutely. So you might want to wait another 6 months to a year before you really invest into something like this with the new video cards and the kind of switch to new CPUs and DDR4 now instead of 3. So I'm not sure if it's the best time, but if you got the money to blow, just go all out, man. Do it. But
Alienwares are so good, right?
it's always best to build your own.
Yeah, you're just paying for the name brand when you buy it.
Well, I think it's best to build your own if you don't want to spend the extra money and you have the capability and or interest to do it. I mean, to be honest, it's not rocket science.
It isn't. It's not hard.
Some people wouldn't want to do it, in which case I would just buy a pre-built one.
Or one of those Best Buy Oculus machines, right?
No, do not buy an Oculus machine. God damn it, Van.
No, I'd build my own. And I mean, you could always talk to us outside of the podcast and we'll help.
I mean, as far as I can, from the times I've built computers, the trickiest part I found is putting in the front USB and on and off buttons into the motherboard. Apart from the rest of it, it's very simple. And I actually made a mistake on my machine where I accidentally put the on button in the reset thing and the reset button in the on button. So now I turn my machine on by pressing the reset button, and if I want to reset it, I press the massive blue on button. But I mean, it does make a difference. But
that's pro, man. That's pro.
Yeah.
All right. So he also asked, do you think they'll bring Xbox Live Arcade back? We kind of talked about that. I'd like to see it back as a brand, but not as
yeah. Maybe this year they might, because I know that a lot of people say that they like it and they miss it. So maybe the demand of the fans wanting it, they'll bring it back.
I think if they just did it as a promotion and not like an actual part of the Xbox store.
Yeah, maybe like Summer Arcade.
Yeah, exactly. But they called it that. Yeah, exactly.
Because that was a great, because you knew for a solid month each week you're going to get a solid arcade game.
Yeah.
Obviously, towards the tail end, they started not being as good, but
I don't think they will bring. Well, part of the reason why they got rid of the arcade brand was because they didn't want people to think of them as arcade games. I mean, it was never originally envisioned so much with all these interesting original indie games. It was generally for, hey, here's your 400 Microsoft points copy of Sonic the Hedgehog, and obviously it grew and they got original games. But I think that they feel that arcade sets a certain precedent for the sort of games that you're going to get.
Well, originally when they had the arcade, wasn't it the download only like 25 megabytes originally?
It went up, and then it went up to 200 because of Castlevania, and then it went up higher.
It went to 100, then 200.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they enforced demos, but demos had a separate certification process, and devs hated it. They loathed it,
right?
Regardless of how many sales it got them.
But Steve, if they just did it for 4 games for 1 month as just like a promo thing, and they had demos for all 4 of those games, and they made sure they were all under $20, I think that would be a decent way to bring back the brand without making it a real initiative going forward. Just like a sale kind of thing that happens once a year or twice a year. I don't think that would be a real issue.
I don't either, but I still don't think they're going to do it.
I think it'd be smart. But non-gaming questions. Okay. What's your favorite Sean Connery movie?
Hunt for Red October.
What's the one where he voices the dog?
Ugh.
The dog?
Well, it's about the only Sean Connery film that I can specifically think of.
You can't even say James Bond, Steve, and at least lie.
Well, I don't like James Bond films.
You're British. You have to like James Bond.
No, I don't
films.
have to like Jack shit.
Yes, you do. That's like saying Americans don't like baseball.
Baseball sucks.
I don't like baseball.
Steve, I'm going to punch you in the face when you say
Cricket
baseball sucks.
I'm American and baseball sucks. So.
Cricket,
oh, God, I hate you
give me
guys.
a fucking shot in the head. Holy shit, cricket!
sorry,
I
Tim.
don't know what the fuck's going on.
It is a game of skill and
Tim is
tactics.
still a
I
little
actually
mad
watched
about
it. And I'm like,
the.
what is this shit?
Tim's
They
still a
go,
little
they
mad.
reverse
It is
it
shit.
around.
You know, my favorite one is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Ah, that is a good one.
I love that movie, man.
Yeah. That was the first Indiana Jones movie I remember really, really liking, and then I went back and watched Ark and Temple of Doom. Kalima! I remember that shit. I love that movie now.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going with Highlander 2.
You sure not the first one?
All right, you convinced me. Highlander 1.
What was
Yeah.
that movie he did with Catherine Zeta-Jones, where they were
Oh,
spies?
Entrapment.
Yeah, that one was alright.
I've seen that. That's not
Man.
bad. Maybe
She
I'll
looked
pick
pretty
that
good,
over
too.
this mysterious dog film.
There can only be one. I'm just saying.
What about you, Timothy?
Indiana and the Last Crusade. Indiana.
All right.
Jones.
All right, and now the final part of the question. Can we hear each of your best Sean Connery impressions?
No.
Oh God, I
haven't done a Sean Connery impression in a long time.
I know, that's what I'm trying to think. I'm gonna pause my or mute my mic and work it out.
Sean Connery. When you talk like Sean Connery, you have to have this strange lisp. Everything has to sound like you have an SH sound.
All right,
Can we move on, please?
I like
Steve. What'd you say, Steve?
Oh Jesus, that doesn't even sound Scottish in the slightest.
I couldn't do the impressions, guy.
I used to be able to do a good one. I'm not.
Scottish.
Yeah, you sound pretty good at it.
I can't think of anything to say. When we were doing our walking impressions, those just rolled off the tongue, and you could say anything as walking, and it was hilarious. But Sean Connery's different because he's more dignified, I guess. So it's kind of harder to really do an impression without sounding like a buffoon.
Moron.
I guess
There can only be one. I can't do it.
I like that. Jesus Christ. That's
I like Daryl Hammond played Sean Connery on that.
See,
Jeopardy
all these
celebrity
questions. All these questions are asking for shit on the spot, man. We need time to practice.
It's tough.
Give us like a week.
Last part he says P.S. Steve cares, Steve knows, Steve rules.
Steve
yeah, Prophecy is my boy. He knows. He understands.
Yet Steve didn't even do a Sean Connery impression.
Look,
I know. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
I'm not a connoisseur. I'm not an expert.
We can't let Steve defend himself on this. We got to move on.
At least
All
say
right.
buttocks.
This next question is next email or letter is from David. David says, "Hey guys, so a couple questions this week about the Xbox sharing and EA access. I've decided to go all digital with games going forward, so I'm considering game sharing with my nephew. Does this still work with an Xbox in a different location? Can we play both the same game at the same time? I will end up getting EA Access. Unfortunately, I already purchased Dragon Age and Madden 16 before I even knew EA Access existed. Before I went on and signed up for the year, I was hoping you could give me a little information on it. I believe they give you access to the 15 games in the vault. How often are these updated? Are you able to share the account with one other person, or is this for one user? Thank you."
I think EA Access is one user.
EA Access is shareable, actually.
Yeah,
the only
it's
problem
shareable.
with the EA Access is that if it's a trial, the trial cannot be shared across two people.
Okay, that's
the
what I
trial
was thinking.
the trials can only be played by the person who owns the actual service.
Account.
But once the game goes into the vault, those games can be shared. So
I was unaware of that.
Put an awful lot of effort into that.
What'd you say, Steve?
So they put an awful lot of effort into that process.
Ah,
well, because it's like attached to your home console or something like that, and it's also the way the games work. But yeah, the trials are attached directly to your account because they know like how much time you have left. That's why it can't be shared. You see?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but I'm pretty sure I've shared them with Maria. So I don't want to make you go and buy this and then be like, I can't share. But I'm pretty sure
I
they can
don't
share
I
it.
don't know how
EA
game sharing
Access?
works.
Yes, it works. Me and Dusty share EA Access
Yeah,
games.
yeah. Okay, okay, good. Yeah. So yeah, you can share EA access, but you can't share the trials. But the way it works is you have to set a home console, and
Mhm.
on that home console, any gamer tag on that console can play all the games that have been purchased on the account that the home console is attached to. So in the case of you game sharing with your nephew, if you're the one buying the games, you're going to have to make your nephew's console the home console. Um, and then you'll have to log in with your gamer tag on your own console.
Right.
Uh, and then he can log in with his own gamer tag on the home console. So it works out all right. But yeah, that's just how it's going to have to work. You're going to have to make your nephew's console the home console. But
And
as
then
long
that
as you
means
do
that
that,
he can only play his games when he's online. Is that correct?
no. Well, yeah. The person writing, David, would only be able to play when he's connected online. So if Xbox Live is down or your
Yes.
internet's down, you can't play your games.
Right. There is some caveats to it that you should know. I mean, I do it with my nephew. I it's my account. I buy the games. I own the games, but I set his to home as if I was living there, just so he can have all the access content. But he has a little bit of an advantage. He can play games offline. I cannot because I cannot get to the server and be authenticated. Um, I just play through my gamer tag, so that's the only thing you have to consider. For me, it's I think it's fine to play on my gamer tag. If Xbox Live is down, whatever, it's down. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, the way games are now, they're all so attached to being online all the time now. And it was a big old blow up with the original DRM plans, but I mean, you're seeing games constantly coming out that require you to be online to play. When you look at something like Destiny or The Division or The Crew or even Street Fighter 5 right now, you're completely neutered when you play that game offline. So, I mean, I wouldn't be that worried about it.
So
Just do it.
let me ask you this. My brother lives like 45 minutes from me. How would we be able to game share? Because I don't know how it works.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to make your brother's console the home console for
Mhm.
your gamer tag. All
Okay.
right? And then whenever, so you can still log in to your console where you live.
Mhm.
It just won't be it won't be the home console attached to your gamer tag. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So you'll just have to be online to play all the games that you own.
Okay.
And then for him, he can just play everything that's on
Right.
that console since it's a home console.
Okay.
You
But
just
you
gotta.
then can't play your games.
Right.
If your
Now,
internet goes down, you can't play anything
Yes, you
online.
can't be authentic.
also, but one thing that's really cool, let's say your wife has a gamer tag or something and she wants to play a game. She
Mhm.
can, as long as you're signed in at the same time.
Okay.
You see? So that's what we do with me and Maria and I. What we do, we have the home console in our bedroom that she usually plays on, and then I usually play on the living room one. But if she wants to play on the one in the living room, since it's not a home console, she has to make sure I'm logged in at the same time. You know,
Mhm.
but
There's,
which is nice that they let you do that because for like on the PS4 you can't even do that. So
Mhm.
you can game share, but you can't like play on like she couldn't play with her gamer tag on the living room console.
Right.
I know, yeah,
You
but
can actually you can get you their gamer tag can play also um, online. I believe right. They can play online on the home console.
oh
And
yeah,
you can get achievements and actually play you, right? Couldn't you have that scenario if you're both playing Rocket League or you're playing against each other, Killer Instinct?
well yeah, you can
She's
both play the game at the same time.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, the way I think of it is you use your gamer tag remotely and you share the other Xbox in the other location, whoever is going to be your brother, best friend, or somebody that you can trust.
Oh,
And
and what's nice too, if let's say your cousin buys a game, he can make his or her home console your console, and then you can both share games with each other. So if your cousin buys a game, you can play it, and if you buy a game, your cousin can play it. So that works out really nicely too. So the two of you can kind of decide, well, I'm going to buy the game this time, or you're going to buy the game next time. You know, so it's really nice. And it's definitely the way to go. If you're going to go digital, definitely find a game sharing buddy. It's worth it. So thank you for writing in, David. So it's our last letter. This one's from Special Ed. He's written in many times. He says, "Hi, Uncut crew." It's kind of weird, Uncut crew. Like we're just all uncut.
We
We're all
got
hooded
uncut
knights.
together.
He says, "Hi, Uncut crew. A belated Happy New Year to all of you. Question: Working under the assumption that Microsoft decides the next Xbox will be a traditional console, a la the OG 360 and Xbox One, how do you think Microsoft will approach it? Will they take any learnings from this gen and go balls to the wall on power that Sony can never match? Will they just screw up again? I have a suspicion that if they do have another traditional console, I feel it will be their last, and not only will they go all out on power, they may even go with hardware backwards compatibility for every Xbox console released, OG, 360, Xbox One, and go with the tagline, the only Xbox you'll ever need. What do you guys think? Well, you don't want to say the only Xbox you'll ever need because they might want to sell another Xbox after that. But
I think it'll definitely be an all-digital system, I imagine. That's what I
No
think.
way.
no,
No way.
They do not need a disc drive.
they're not going to mess up again.
No, they do need a disk drive because they want GameStop, who control over 50% of the US market, to sell their console.
Yep.
Meh.
100%.
I mean, I want an all digital. I'll buy a PS4 when they have an all digital console. I don't want a fucking disc drive. I just want an all digital. Give me that option.
You guys are talking about consoles. I'm buying a PC next gen. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Windows 11.
No, Windows 10. It's going to be Windows 10 forever.
Get all the exclusives, bro.
Windows 10 Part 2.
But
I think they will go balls to the wall with power. There's no way that the next Xbox will be underpowered. It will be
they're
a
not going to get
fucking
beat again.
beast.
Yeah, they're not going to get beat
And
again.
they will be first to market too. I really believe that. They'll be first to market. They'll be insane specs. Hopefully all digital, but
They'll definitely run HoloLens, I would think.
well,
You
wouldn't
think
it
they
be
would have
cheaper
it?
for them to put the games just on like an SD card instead of a disc? Because they got 120 gigabyte SD cards now. It would be cheaper to manufacture that as opposed to discs.
I don't know.
No, it might not be actually.
It's
Yeah, I'm not sure
50-50 on the disc, in my opinion. You just have to see how the it evolves. You know what I mean? That could be that could be a year, final year decision. You'll know the market at that point where you have to go.
There will be a physical release of games though in some capacity. Like they're not gonna, but
I agree.
they have to. They have to.
That's why I say maybe with a SD card, some sort of proprietary.
Like GameStop wants to sell used games, so they're going to figure out a way to make the games be sold used, whatever they do. So
I'm going to be honest with you guys. Phil is a console gamer, but he also loves the PC. So does Mike Ybarra. These guys love specs, so I think they want to have their baby, and I think they will get their baby, and I think that it will be the most powerful console on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's going to have a Kinect bundled.
I would just make I would just have the
HoloLens.
Kinect. I would just make the Kinect not bundled. I would like it to be just reuse this Kinect is fine because this one they could just keep adding to it.
Because it's not like you need 4K
Good
resolution.
piece of equipment. Yeah, exactly.
You don't need to update it. It's fine what it is. People will say, "Oh, it's too big." Well, tough shit.
It fits perfectly on the TV with the stand. It looks nice.
I have an articulating wall mount that I can extend from my wall like fucking 4 feet. I can rotate it. I can do whatever I want, and I have my Kinect mounted on top of the TV, and it works great.
Thing is, if the next console comes out and it can do 4K and people can hook a VR headset up to it and it handles it nicely, that's what they need. That's all they need. So, and
Exactly.
I think that's what they're going to shoot for. I mean, they're going to try to find a way to not, spend too much money and lose too much money on sales, obviously.
So what if this next console, right? Say like it is just a powerhouse beast, but and they're like, okay, it has the best top specs, but it's still $499. Are people going to complain about that if the specs are just there?
No, not as much. You're talking about 2020 now, Steve.
It's not going to be 2020. They're not going to like.
In my opinion, it's
2018. I'm going to say.
Xbox One is not going to limp on for another 4 years.
Yeah, it will.
No.
It was
2 years. 2 years.
You think in 2 years, 2018, that we'll have another console?
Yes.
No
That's
way.
my guess.
2020 is my guess.
I would say 2020.
2020.
I think 2018 is just too soon.
Is
No
it
way.
really? Because it came out in
Yes.
2013. That's a
They
5 year
planned
life. That's
they
5 years. That's pretty good.
They would have had it started, and I don't think they started.
No,
Even
I
if
think
they
they started
started
the research and
today,
development. I really think they started it, but I just think 2018 is just, in my opinion, it's unrealistic. It's just too soon.
Original Xbox was how long? Like 3 years or something?
4 years.
4 years?
they could do
Okay.
2019.
Out of
if
curiosity,
they,
how many Xbox Ones do you think they'll still be selling in 2019?
Million.
Exactly.
Not very many.
They'll sell at least 10 or 15 a month.
That's not very many.
No,
Oh.
they'll have software that can push it.
Oh no,
They'll,
Bone
they'll
says
be getting they'll be getting killed in the market at that point. But Sony will have full control. But at that point it'll be full range in motion. So you're going to either get 2019 holiday or 2020 holiday. That's the realistic way to look at it. In my opinion, I'm going to say 2020 because Microsoft is just not somebody who's just going to move that fast, especially in 2018. It's totally unrealistic.
Oh no, Bones here says bet. Sounds like a bet. Is there a bet here?
I'll bet 15. I'll bet him Steve a video game. The first game. If it's 2020, he gets me it. If it's 2019, I get him
He'll
it.
buy Halo 7, either Windows 10 or Xbox.
I'm not sure I want to be tied down to 2019. I think there's a lot of different ways that they could do this.
Well, it's not like they could really upgrade the Xbox One.
Well, they could do it.
Well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
AMD
With the switch to Windows 10, they absolutely could.
AMD suggested
so they could
that they might.
How could you make the Xbox One more powerful and not alienate every pre-existing console?
Still runs the games.
The games available on both.
Oh well. Yeah, but you wouldn't you have to program for 2 games then?
No.
Oh,
DirectX 12.
Well, hold on a second.
Windows 10, DirectX 12 would be easy.
That PC
The
game?
biggest problem with this idea is that the hardcore community has to go out and buy the new consoles if they want the most.
Yeah, you're right about that.
And
You gotta say, is 1080p that worth it to me? You're not gonna do it.
No, it'll be 4K according to Steve.
I don't think I've ever said it before, 4K.
Oh.
Well,
I said that.
They could. They're not gonna be able to do 4K, but they could have a 4K HDMI 2.0 where they
it'll have 4K. It'll have 4K output, and they'll be able to go up to resolutions of 4K. But most of the games that come out definitely won't hit 4K.
Yeah, it'll just it'll run better than
I don't
PS4.
think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna waste. I don't think they're gonna waste their money on that. They're just gonna. They're gonna put the money towards the next console.
They're gonna have a redesign this year. They're gonna. Have
I think it's 2018.
2020.
I'm going 2019 just to be different.
2020.
It could be mid 2019.
Well, I am completely undecided because I think that the
you
signs
can't be undecided.
No, I am undecided because I honestly
just take a guess. What's your guess?
Tomorrow.
You have to. That's the part of the fun.
Xbox One is not going to limp on until 2019. So
you're saying sooner.
2018.
I don't like
2018. Steve sees the light.
Year at E3, they're going to come out and say, "Guess what, guys? We have an Xbox."
We have two 2020s.
Yes.
No
way. You know what? Hey, I don't like.
Well, no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't announce it till 2018.
So you say would announce?
No, you have to be playing. I'm talking about playing the game on your console in front of it. 2018, 2019, or 2020.
I think it'll be announced at E3 2018. It'll come out in November 2018.
The only way that'll work is if all Xbox Ones, all of them, are backwards compatible.
They will be.
Of course
they will be.
It's the only way that I would ever buy.
You'll have Xbox One backward compatibility, 360 compatibility, and I think they're going to figure out the OG Xbox backward.
I think OG Xbox
compatibility by then too. Yeah,
there's too select fewer games to really do it to put a lot of effort into it.
Well, they don't have to make that much effort probably because it was actually.
They might have a classic or two, but they don't.
Yeah, exactly. They'll release like Jade Empire and maybe. Mech Assault, games like that,
Well, no,
there won't be that
really
many.
Release Mech Assault, I don't think, unless they.
Why not?
Well, how would you? The bread and butter was the online.
Maybe they emulate the servers somehow.
Yeah, that's what they would have to do.
Yeah, that would run like shit.
They're not going to. Yeah, but they're not going to do that because they.
No, but to turn them back on, yeah.
Yeah,
no, not really.
A new Mech Assault game.
They don't have to turn them. They don't have to turn like the servers they used to be using on. They just run a virtual machine. That's what they do now.
They could possibly, yeah. But
All
I think
servers,
there's a good chance, you know.
all the servers you use when you're playing Xbox Live right now, they're all virtual machines. Like none of it,
Yeah.
you're not using up an entire server. So.
But the problem, I'm pretty sure they said, apart from wanting to move people off of Halo 2 to Halo 3, was that Halo 2 had a hard limit of 100 friends, and
Right.
it would break it. They
Well,
said.
You got the same thing with Xbox One and Xbox 360 right now. I mean, you can't see all your friends on Xbox 360, but it doesn't stop you from backwards compatibility.
Yeah, but that might not have been built to hard code to break it like Halo 2.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll
was.
only bring over single player games then. But I mean, they could still emulate a few of those games. Maybe it's something they'll do.
Plus,
But-
they have the code behind it. They could actually patch the games too. I mean,
Yeah.
so
We'll see. There might not be enough demand for them to do it though, but there'll definitely be 360 Xbox One backward compatibility for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if the 360 backwards compatibility is quite improved, you know, as far as like maybe they'll be able to kick the resolution up or do something, you know, add anti-aliasing or increase the frame rate somehow. There's
They could
probably a
just
way they
turn
could
off-
do that.
If they could just turn off VSync
Yeah,
and make all the frame rates fine, that would be lovely.
which they can do because we've seen VSync be turned on and off within Rocket League. They let you do that, so you would think, or like what was the other game that did that? The Sniper Elite game also lets you turn it on and off. So hopefully that's an option they'll add to the backwards.
Well, to be fair,
compatibility.
it could be an emulator limitation rather than.
We'll make it an option to choose in the emulator. You know how when you push the select and the start buttons, it brings you to the old guide? Well, maybe that old guide includes a VSync option. I don't know. There's got to be some way they
all
can
right,
do
guys, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon. We're getting
it.
there.
Hey, I'm the host.
I don't
I'm
care.
the host.
I gotta be asleep.
I'm the host. But anyway, Steve, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Rocket League. I played The Wolf Among Us. The Wolf Among Us is fantastic. I was putting it off because I was like, this looks really stupid. And Dustin was like, oh no, Steve, it's amazing. And then I finally played it, and I did it in like 2 days. It's fantastic. They should have done season 2. Also, it doesn't run like utter shit, which is nice. But there were a couple of times where it paused, and I was just like, someone get me the head of Telltale so I can just slap you.
But Telltale games, that's how they always are. When they first come out, they're buggy, and then they fix them. And then by the end of the season, things run better.
Yeah, but it's bullshit. It pisses me off. I finished Gunworld, which is the worst $2 game I've ever played.
Worse than anything you've ever played on an iPad that was $2 or an iPhone.
Well, for a start, I don't buy $2 iPhone games, but yes, it's worse than all of them. Yes, it was terrible, but I did feel quite satisfied when I finished it that I then went back and then got the second ending, which was probably a bit excessive.
So you played it twice?
No, I just redid the last level again,
okay.
but it did take me an additional 4 hours to do it again.
Jeez.
Then I played Life is Strange. I've got one episode left. Didn't really like the first one. The second one was a bit boring, but man, shit really gets going in the third one, doesn't it? I don't know if any of you've played it, but the third and fourth episodes are really good. And I was going to play it today and I forgot. So once we've done this, I'll probably go and play it. Outside of that, I've been playing Rocket League. I've got 905 of the gamer score. So I've just got 2 left. It is because I'm a hero. And I'm also top for goals, shots, game progress, MVPs, and wins on my friends list. And I'm second for saves and fourth for assists of all of my friends on Xbox Live. It's really good. It runs really well. It looks really good.
Buy it.
$20. Had like 55,000 players online earlier or something, which is nice.
What's that, Rocket League?
Yeah.
I bought it. I just haven't played it yet.
Which means it's probably sold in the hundreds of thousands already. So.
Yeah. And you know, people were talking about how it was late, how it had no cross-play, how apparently indie games don't sell on Xbox One, and yeah, 55,000.
Everyone's buying it.
55,000.
Indie games don't sell on Xbox One. That's why Ark Survival is the most downloaded game.
Tim.
I'm sorry.
Tim's killing it.
All right. Well, let's. Anything else, Steve?
No, I think that's probably about it.
All right. Well, let's move on to Tim since I mentioned Tim. What you been playing?
Rocket League, and I'm looking to play the Division. I'm actually Sorry, I was typing. I was typing to somebody because I'm going to play the Division and Rocket League, and I am very excited. Rocket League seems to really have gotten hype on Xbox. Didn't expect it to be that much hype. So, but it's a good game. Once you play, you have to play it. I wouldn't play it alone. Playing it alone is a different experience than playing it with friends. When you play with a friend, it's really kind of a fun experience because you work together as a team of four, and I like it. It's going to be you pick it up and play. Those are my type of games sometimes, and very impressed. And I'm really looking forward tonight to the Division. I'll be probably really playing both, and that's pretty much what I've been playing. And I play Madden, which is the greatest sports game I've ever played right now. I'm in my season. I'm actually my playoff game. I'm playing the San Francisco 49ers. I went 10-6, and I'm a wild card, and I'm playing in San Francisco. I hope. I really think I'm going to go for if I lose, I start a new season, or I'm not going to reset. Put it that way. I've already reset once. I play on the hard level, but I'm going to play it for real. And I'm just really the game is just very impressive to me. The way it just keeps evolving, or just the way it just very realistic games and just really done well. So that's for me.
Good stuff. One Saint. What you been playing?
I played a little bit of Halo and then just been playing The Witcher. I haven't really played much since Sunday, Monday. I got sick and so I haven't really felt like playing anything. I downloaded Rocket League. I downloaded the DeLorean car because I love Back to the Future. So I definitely want to get into the Division tonight. Want to play some Rocket League tonight. I'll probably finish The Witcher 3 this weekend. I think that's what I'm going to do. And then other than that, man, nothing.
Awesome. And Jason?
I haven't played shit.
Well, that's nice.
I'm working 7 days straight. I haven't played shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been playing the same stuff you guys have been talking about. I'm pretty excited about playing the Division tonight, and Rocket League's great. I like the tutorial on the Xbox One version. I guess they added it to the PS4 version late too, because when I originally played it on PS4, I don't remember that same tutorial. What's pretty cool is if you do the double jump in the air and tilt your car kind of back, you can turn on your boosters and then actually fly. So that's pretty awesome. So technically, you can set up spikes in this game. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and some Rocket League news. We found out today that the hockey variant of the game is actually coming out next week. So there's going to be a big giant puck, and it's going to be on ice and everything. So yeah,
that is quite fun.
Yeah, was it called Snow Days or something like that?
Do they spell it DAZE?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
But and then besides that, I have been playing some PS4 games. I put a few more hours into The Witness, and we talked about that earlier, the Jonathan Blow game, and I really hope this game comes to the Xbox One because I think those people deserve to play it. It's a really, really good puzzle game. It handles tutorials so incredibly well. What it does is with each new set of puzzles, it'll show you a bunch of like easy versions of these puzzles that get like progressively harder until you get to the one major puzzle which puts everything into place. And that's how all the different sections of the game are put together. And there's no text, no voice or anything like that explaining this all to you. It's just all revealed before you, and it's put together pretty brilliantly. So that's a game I really do hope comes to Xbox One, and it seems like it will. So when it does, I hope you all get a chance to play that. It's really good. And then I did put some time into Street Fighter V.
Hadouken.
Yeah, Street Fighter V's.
I'm interested in this.
Well, first off, I want to talk about my good experiences. I have a Killer Instinct joystick, and I wanted to be able to use that on my PS4. So what I did was I bought something called the Cronus Max. And if you get the Cronus Max and you get a USB hub, it allows you to use any controller pretty much on any console. So it allows me to use my joystick on the PS4. Works great. There's no input latency or anything like that. I can also use my Xbox Elite controller, and it lets you use the flippers too, since the flippers, those profiles are saved directly on the controller instead of through software. It's actually saved to the firmware. You don't have any issues. So you can actually set up a profile on your Xbox One, switch to that on your controller, and use that on the PS4. So it works great. Now to get back to Street Fighter V, the game is actually really good. It looks good, it runs well. It's classic Street Fighter gameplay. There's some cool new additions, but it does not to give you any sort of like tutorial really on how all these new features work. Like if you want to learn how to play this game, you really have to do your own homework. This game doesn't have any kind of like awesome dojo mode like Killer Instinct does. It doesn't really spell things out for you. So that's a real bummer first off. Second, like I said earlier, this is a game that is completely neutered if you're not online.
So it was pretty much rushed.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the tournaments are starting really soon, and then Evo's right around the corner. So they wanted to make sure to get this game out in time. But not just that. Okay, so let's say first off, the servers are not very good. I mean, people are getting disconnected all the time. Matches are disconnecting, and what happens is when you get disconnected, it just kicks you right back to the starting screen, and then you don't get credit for all the fighting you just did. And what you do is you collect like a currency that you can use to buy costumes, new characters, stuff like that. Well, first off, the store isn't even available right now. There's a section for the store in the game, and it says coming in March. And then there's another section for there's something else that's coming in March, like lobbies or something like that says coming in March. So like it feels so incomplete. It feels so incomplete.
How does it compare to season 1 of Killer Instinct when it came out?
Oh, it's got way more stuff than Killer Instinct did season 1. I mean, it's got way more characters. It's not just like
no, not just the characters. I mean, as far as like features, because when season 1 KI came out, I mean, there was dojo. Even though I don't know if
there is a small train. There is like a small like tutorial mode, but it's not as good as dojo. And but yeah, it's not very. It's very It's actually very bare bones.
It's not worth that $60 price tag then.
Where
would you put it if you could say, all right, I would.
If I could say I wanted to pay a certain amount, I would have rather pay like $40 or something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, there's a lot of characters in the game. It does have online. There is a survival mode. There's a story mode, but the story mode's kind of a bummer because the story mode, each character, you're only fighting like 3 fights for each character. So it's like you spend like anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're done the story mode for each character.
Have you used the Nakali yet? That new character, because he's the only one out of all the characters that's new.
I haven't played many yet. I've played as Chun-Li, Ryu. Who's that wrestler girl who they got rid of the butt slap? Tried her. And then there's another new female character who's pretty cool. What's her name? Laura Mitsuda or something like that. Those are the only ones I tried so far. I haven't put a whole lot of time into the games yet. But I mean, it looks good. It plays well. It's a good Street Fighter game. If you're into Street Fighter, you're not going to be wasting your money. I mean, the updates are coming. It seems like it should have come out in March and not this month. I think if it had come out next month, when it had all the extra stuff that it needed at launch, it'd be okay. And there is a new character coming out like each month, and they're not charging you for the characters. You can pay real money, or you can pay the money you earn within the game. And the money you earn within the game is actually, it doesn't take that long to get the money you need to get like 1 or 2 characters.
So you have to unlock the new characters with in-game currency
when they are released, or you can pay for them as microtransactions. So it doesn't.
That just doesn't seem right. If you're paying,
it's DLC.
But if it's
free DLC.
So, but then why do you have to say like you just you play a few matches here and there, and you don't play for a while, and these new characters come out.
Then you pay for it. It's like anything. I mean, it's DLC. Like they could charge for it, which they are, or you can buy it with in-game currency. So I don't have a problem with that because the game isn't launching with like 7 or 8 characters or anything like that. I think it's got like 16 characters or something at launch. So it feels like there's plenty there as far as the character content's concerned. So I don't have an issue with that really. And they're going to be adding challenges and other ways to get currency. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be a real hassle. But have they said how much for like costumes is kind of expensive?
Have they said how much the characters would cost as far as real life currency and in-game currency?
I'm not sure what the price is. I think it's anywhere from like $3 to $5 though. I don't think it's like ridiculous, you know.
All right, I was thinking maybe if it was like $10 a character, that was
Yeah,
that
no,
was a
it's not.
little bit
It's not
outrageous.
like Evolve, you know. It's not like they're going
Right.
crazy with the characters, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's if you're really in the Street Fighter, it's worth the buy, you know. But I see where all the issues are coming from, and like the server issues are really a problem right now. So, yep, that's my experience and what I've been playing. But
It really
what'd you
didn't
say,
help
Jason?
them in the reviews. Like if you go to Amazon or Steam, like that thing, like user review
Okay.
wise, it's getting absolutely fucking demolished.
Well, there's not even an arcade mode right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem. Like you said, if they would have waited till March when they had more of this stuff and then released, they wouldn't have got as like destroyed in the user reviews. And I also think it's funny that everyone went out saying, you know, Sony investing all this money in it was going to make it release really soon and, you know, be the game it should be when it should launch. But then it launches in this state, you know?
Yeah,
I don't,
and I think what people should be more upset about, honestly, is the online issue, because seriously, if the
it's a
servers
fighting
are
game.
down, you can't gain any currency when you
Yeah.
play. It doesn't recognize that you did it. It doesn't give you higher. It doesn't raise your character level. It doesn't give you the currency for all the different modes you're playing. So you can spend all this time offline, and you won't even have the stuff you need to buy the new characters when they come out. So it's really, really they needed to figure out a better solution for that. So it's in a
Yeah.
bad way right now, I think, as far as whether or not they've pleased the customer fan base. So I think they'll get over it, though. I think next month it'll be the game it should have been, and things will be fine. And this is more of a platform than it is a game that's going to get a sequel a year from now.
So when you say
So.
sequel, maybe a Super Street Fighter 5.
No, I don't think we're going to get that.
No,
They've
We'll-
said
we'll
they're
get
you
it.
think it'll
gonna
just
do
go straight? I know that
No.
they've already said that
They're
they
going to
won't
keep
get-
they're going to keep making characters. They're going to keep building this platform just like Killer Instinct is right now, honestly. It's going to be very similar to that, and they'll just box it with all the new content and say it's this edition or something, but it'll be the same game. That's my guess.
You know, I don't know. When you have such a big franchise like Street Fighter, alienating it to one console. I know Sony money handed it and shit like that, but
But it's on PC as well.
yeah,
on
that's
PC
true.
as well. It is a bummer it's not on Xbox One, though. I think there's a lot of fans out there who enjoyed playing it on Xbox One, but I mean that's how exclusives
As-
go. So you just
I mean,
deal with it.
as long as Street Fighter 4 comes to backwards compatibility, I'll be all right.
I'm done
Yeah, I'm
with that.
curious. Yeah, I'm curious if that'll even happen.
Probably won't.
Think so?
Yeah, it's business dealing. This, you know, they don't
So,
want that.
but there's no way that Sony could have predicted that Microsoft would do backwards compatibility when they announced
Yeah.
Street Fighter
Yeah.
5. So, you know, they could have.
Yeah.
There's no way. Well, I mean, they probably.
It's up
Maybe
to
they put a little
Capcom.
money under the table and said, "Don't release it." I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, lawyers can think of all sorts of shit, and
No.
they
But
probably have.
Capcom have to give permission, and Capcom aren't going to do anything that pisses off Sony.
Right.
So if Sony, if they turn
I
around
don't
to Sony
think
and say, "Hey,
Capcom-
do it,"
I don't think Capcom's very happy right. They might be happy with how it's initially selling, but I don't think they're very happy with the way it's reviewing. It's not going to help the long. It's not going to give it.
It's not really selling
legs.
gangbusters. It hasn't hit #1. I think on
It's
Amazon.
not doing well on PC at all.
No,
Actually,
It's not
And-
doing. It's
Well,
not doing
no,
as well
because
as you
the
think.
second, the second you go to
Yeah,
the
but-
Steam page and see that the reviews are mixed, that's kind of a no-go.
And
Like
the fact of the matter is that fighting games are a niche genre, and not everybody enjoys them. I like them just because it's reminds me of being a kid growing up in the '90s playing fighting games in the arcade. But fighting games these days are now just based on nostalgic and what the name is. Street Fighter is a big name. Mortal Kombat is a big name. Granted, Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat sells millions, but if Mortal Kombat didn't have the gore that it does, it wouldn't fucking sell because realistically, in my opinion, the gameplay mechanics of Mortal Kombat aren't that great
right.
compared to Killer Instinct or Street Fighter. But I like Mortal Kombat better than Street Fighter just because it's more interesting to me.
Yeah. Well, hopefully the story mode coming out in June. Well, it has a story mode now, but it's just like stills, like with really bad,
Basically
poorly
a
drawn stills,
bullshit.
and just and bad dialogue. I mean, it's
I
a
heard
pretty bare bones.
It doesn't
poor
have
story mode.
spectator mode. It doesn't have CPU versus
No.
CPU. It doesn't have one.
You can
it doesn't
only
have
you can only
player
have two
versus
people in a
CPU.
lobby right now.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's missing a lot of basic stuff.
But in March they're doing the mode where you can spectate and play in a lobby
It's like
with
that
like
Star
8
Trek
people or
movie.
something. You know.
It's like when did the
But-
torpedoes get here? Tuesday. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
why? Why
But yeah,
didn't
the
they
worst
release
thing
this
is
in
just seeing
March?
spaces on the front page that say available in March, like things that
Yeah.
you should be able to select. It feels like what the hell is this? Is a free to play game?
Sony must have had them to an obligation or something like that.
I,
Someone
I'm
had to have
surprised they
been
didn't
obligated.
go the Killer Instinct route and do it that way.
No, they didn't have to because it's Street Fighter. They knew
They
it would
they
sell.
they kind of did in a way,
I
honestly.
think if they would have did it
That's
that
what it
way, they
feels
would.
like.
If they would have, they could just leave Ryu as the fucking one character you get for free,
Yeah,
and make it free to
yeah.
play and say you only get Ryu, and then each character's $2 or $3. They should have done it that way, but
There's nothing to stop them doing that later on, which is what I suspect they probably will do.
no, I
But
don't think.
I do
No.
want to answer one question in chat. No Bones asked how much the Cronus Max was. It's $60. It's about $60, and then you might have to spend about $5 for a USB hub. So, because you need the USB hub, otherwise it'll disconnect every 8 minutes or 10 minutes or some weird thing like that. So, but yeah, I definitely recommend it. It works great. I tried it out on Uncharted as well, using the Elite controller, and that was awesome. So. I'll be using my Elite controller as often as I can. Obviously, there's certain games I won't be able to because of the trackpad, but you can actually assign a button to the trackpad if you want, like use the back
How
button or something
how
like
many
that.
PS4 games actually utilize the trackpad?
It's mainly the Sony exclusives.
Yeah,
But is it
they
done in
love.
any sort of interesting way? Like, is it
Not usually.
any interesting
Until
game?
Dawn does it pretty well.
Oh, hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello, please.
It's Dustin.
Hey,
Hello,
Steve.
Justin.
There goes No
Fern.
Rules Thursday.
Hey, how are y'all doing today?
We're good.
I don't
Good?
think it's any of your business.
Fuck
Good.
you, Chris.
I'm doing good, Dustin. I'm glad that you've managed to join us.
I'm only here for a second because all these guys wanted to end the show and they're all mad that.
Yeah, we're just about to wrap it up. So,
But I
yeah.
just wanted to say hello to everybody. And
Oh,
Hello,
I heard
Dustin.
I heard Steve was into The Wolf Among Us. So
Yes, it's
show-
really. Why has there not been a season 2? What the hell are these
I
punks
don't
doing?
fucking know. It's amazing, ain't it?
Stop
but,
pissing around.
They gotta make Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft sucks.
It's not as good as The Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, but I did want to say before we close out the show, at the end of the letter section, I forgot to tell everyone, write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. You can write about anything. Video
game
games.
questions.
Yeah, video game questions we like the best. But, I mean, if you want more impressions, which I'm sure you don't, but, I mean, if you want them, we'll do them for you. We'll do them for you. So definitely write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. Anyone got any closing remarks?
Tweet us, follow us on Twitter. We're all very active on Twitter except for Jason. He's a little quiet on Twitter.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got the outro music queued up, Jason?
Maybe.
Maybe.
One saying, have you got my intro ready for next week?
It's not going to be ready for next week, Steve.
No one said bye yet, so I haven't pressed play. I wasn't trying to.
I just wonder if you got it ready. I didn't want to say bye and then have no music and be like,
My
And
fingers.
real quick, the reason why, Steve, it won't be ready for next week because you let the cat out of the bag and said that you had this victory speech, and I will pull from that.
Oh, you know what? I got something to say. We tried to keep this under 2 hours. We fucking failed. So
it's under 2.5, so we're good. You got to give us that 20.
We're at 2 hours and 21.
Yeah, we're like 2:21. That's not too bad. That's too bad.
Oh.
But anyway, we got to wrap it up. So everyone, thanks for listening. Once again, write us at letters@xboxuncut.com. Follow us on Twitter. And thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Breaking rules.
Steve stinks.
Kiss your face.
Over.
All right, now for the special prize. I told everyone I had a special present.
Special present? What's your special present?
One moment. It's slowly.
Oh Christ! Don't tell me Audacity
coming.
just crashed on
Been
us.
alive for 4.5 centuries. I am immortal.
There you go. Highlander, motherfucker.
It's a good song. That's a good soundtrack, man.
Yeah,
it is.
It's way better than the movie.
It is. You can turn that down now, though. Well, anyway, thanks, chat, for following us and listening today, watching us. So, are we about ready to go?
Yeah, we're good.
Ready to turn this off?
No.
Turn this mother off?
Bye, chat.
I'm gonna let the
Praise-
I'm
praise
gonna let
the rules.
Can I let the song play? No. Okay.
No, you can turn it off now.
Okay.
Who's Chef Sledge? I don't like him. He said I talk too much.
Yeah, and he said the outro